Hello and welcome back to Blood and Ashes. This is episode 116, our book 11 finale, where we will cover Knife of Dreams chapters 33 through to the end of the epilogue. I'm your host Mo, and I'm joined once again by my newly crowned friends, Willie.
Yes, that I am.
That is my name.
Present, and Jody.
Ni hao, everybody. Really, you want to bring the languages thing back?
Yes, we dropped that one like a hot potato, eh?
Yeah, it felt like work eventually, and I was like, nah. Don't do that. Billy, how are you doing today?
Yeah, how are you doing, Billy?
Fantastic.
That's
Great Sunday. Wheel of Time.
It is a beautiful
You look
Sunday.
like you've had a great Sunday.
The sun is shining. First warm day in months.
Beautiful day here as well. We had a braai. I swam this afternoon in the pool. I mean, the pool was Arctic, but it was
But you
pleasant. Yes, the weather was nice. The pool water was freezing cold, but I had a braai. It was amazing. It was really good. Although
I saw that photo.
I have been hungover all day. I did go out last night for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
Cut some shapes, drank
You
some
want to
beers.
have a good time, you're going to have to pay for it.
Yes, the iron price.
Yes.
And by iron, I mean blood iron? I don't know.
Yes, let's start talking chemistry.
Yeah, let's not. I don't want to show my whole ass here. If we start talking chemistry, that was like a huge gap in my high school science. I enjoyed science. Chemistry, no time for it.
No.
Much
It was
math.
the worst.
It's good. It's fantastic stuff. It's interesting, but I'm not good at math.
Math was my
Even basic
best
math.
my best result. I got an A on my matric final exam on my report card for maths.
Oh, high grade.
No, you mad?
I did something well on an
Standard
average
grade
level.
for me. I was failing higher grade and I would drop down to standard grade, and it just the curtains lifted off my eyes, and I was like, I
there we
understand
go.
everything now.
Sometimes it can just be the teacher,
It
Yeah.
was the teacher as well. It was the principal? What was his name?
Mr. Potgieter.
Yeah.
He stood in our maths class a couple times. He was epic. He was such a good maths teacher. Yeah.
His class was so full I had to sit on the floor. Everybody wanted to be there. When I first got there, I had no desk.
Wow. Yeah, I can
He
believe
was
that.
a legend.
Something I can't believe is that we are at the end of book 11. Season
Crazy, eh?
finale. I know.
This
The
was a
end of the Jordan
long
era.
track.
The start of
End
the
of the
Sanderson era.
Jordan era. Yeah. Big,
Dude,
big
I'm not
shifts
feeling
coming.
good about this, eh?
Aren't you?
Nah. From what I've read already,
You've started, I know.
it's noticeably different. It's not bad.
Jody, you've been
clearly
proven
not
to be
Jordan.
wrong many times in the past.
This may just be another
So-
one of those times.
We all have,
This
yes,
is-
yes.
Yeah,
My
like-
opinion should be your opinion, really.
No.
You're not allowed your own.
I think we'll deep dive on the Sanderson effect when we get into Gathering Storm, obviously. But it is noteworthy. We've got a couple listener contributions that also sort of touch on that subject. But it's a big milestone for us. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. I'm super excited just to read another Wheel of Time book. I finished Knife of Dreams in October last year. More than 5 months ago, I finished this book. So like my memories are already getting very, very patchy, you know, like it's actually a good indicator of how long I can retain any semblance of detail. Some things stick. I mean, some things stick from our first reads.
Yeah.
But I find myself when I read the recaps of these chapters and stuff, I was tempted to read them all
lot of
again, but I
shit
just
that
didn't have
happened.
the time. Yeah, a lot.
There's a lot.
Last note on the Sanderson era on the next book before we move on is that I'm negative against it. I know I sound negative, but I went through 6 chapters and had to stop myself. You know, so like I can't get too far ahead. So it's very readable.
Yes.
But I'm just saying the difference in writing styles is very noticeable.
Yeah, I'm not going to read ahead again this time for Gathering Storm. I think I'm gonna just go episode by episode.
Let's see if you can hold yourself back. This, I mean, you say this now.
Yes, the true test. Yes,
Maybe you're sitting in a campsite on a nice little chair, and you've got that book in hand, and the kids are playing
away,
somewhere.
The clincher last time was 14-hour flights. You know, like
They might
what are
be
you going to do?
those. I'm still waiting for that European trip of yours I keep hearing about, but never materializes.
Get on a plane.
Going to your brother's wedding. Traitor.
What were you saying, Vil?
No, I was saying maybe you should get on a plane and fly somewhere then.
I'm saying the same thing. Spain.
I mean, I'd love to. I'm just not made of money.
Yes,
it's weird.
That
have to pay for things.
Yes.
I know. Speaking of paying for things, shall we venture into our segment where we pay for our previous transgressions before we go ahead?
Sure, let's get on with it. Stop stalling.
Rightio. I'll stop stalling immediately and forge ahead into everyone's favorite section called Callbacks. We asked, do the Aes Sedai know about the Black Arja oaths? And I did quite a bit of reading and sort of searching around and stuff, and it seems like regular Aes Sedai, no, probably safe bet they don't. They don't even want to know or admit that they exist, right? So
Yes.
like details about that. Now, there
rules.
are exceptions. Moraine knows some stuff. She's encountered the Black Arja in New Spring already, right? Like, so she's not so skittish about talking about it, but they must suspect that they can somehow at least free themselves of the 3 oaths. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to lie about being in the Black Arja, right? So, like, they must know there's some oath shenanigans going on. Egwene muses about it at one stage when they question Joya, and then remember Joya and Amiko, the two Black Arja sisters we spoke about that were captured in the Stone of Tyr. Egwene sort of thinks about, like, I wonder if they've got their own oaths. And then later in the story, Egwene does actually confirm. I think probably soon after or during her interactions with Varen, when Varen exposes her alliance. But regular sisters, no, highly unlikely.
Yeah. First step needs to be acknowledging they exist and then investigating.
Yes. Otherwise, the rest is academic. Yeah. Vil, I've got good news for you. I found the sulfur wind.
Oh.
I found it.
Where?
I found it. It's when Perrin is meeting Tylee Kurgan for the first time. So, you know, when he does the whole thing when he's got the stick in the air and they fire the arrows from the two of his bow, and then the Ashaman burn the stick. At one point, they're sitting on their horses, and the wind comes through at that time. I had it confused or conflated when they were on the ridge looking down on Malden. But I think because we had tried to connect Fail's experience of the Bale Scream with this wind, my brain put them geographically in the same space. But, you know, this is in a field off somewhere else. But when that wind comes through, it's midday. So it is much later, because remember, it was first thing in the morning when it hit the rebel Aes Sedai camp and blows people's blankets off them and knocks over the wagons and stuff. And Swan woke up in the morning. Here it's in the middle of the day. But it blows so hard that it almost blows Perrin off his horse, and it sprays like grit and everything. And so it's like this massive event, but they hardly acknowledge it. They just carry on talking.
Shit's getting weird. So, carry on.
Yeah, everything's weird now. It's nothing like the Bale Scream. It's not like when we later see Perrin experience it, and that's what sparked this whole conversation. Like, wait a minute, didn't Perrin already experience this? No, he experiences the Bale Scream later. And that's more like, you know, everything, reality becoming undone and then coming back together again. I think it happens 3 times or something. So the wind did exist and Perrin did experience it. We were not going crazy.
I mean, we rarely remember things. I mean, we both all remember this.
In this instance.
No, it wasn't. It was just my bad memory from, again, finishing this book now many, many months ago.
Just
we
being
asked,
old.
Both of those things are true, right? So, yes, bit of column A, bit of column B. I had wondered whether Rand's missing hand was at all referenced in the Prophecies of the Dragon, and I couldn't find anything in the Karathan Cycle. And you guys said, but maybe in like a foretelling or one of Min's viewings, and I found a viewing of Min's that could have a hint about it. She says to Rand, she sees a bunch of things around him: a sword that isn't a sword, a golden crown of laurel leaves, a beggar's staff, Rand pouring water on sand, a bloody hand and a white-hot iron, 3 women standing over a funeral pyre with Rand in it, and then black rock wet with blood, lightning around you, someone striking at you, or some of the lightning striking at you and some coming out of you. The beggar's staff, I think, is a reference to his unexpected trip to Ibu Dar. but the bloody hand could refer to Rand losing a hand.
I'm betting it does.
I mean, it kind of fits. Yeah. Then we asked, how long have we been doing this podcast? I feel like this is almost like an annual event. Like we're always like, well, how long is it again? In June, guys, it will be 6 years.
Fuck off.
I know. Surprising,
feels
right?
like 10. 10 glorious
we make
years.
this joke every time as well.
But we're old. We forgot we did it.
Exactly. So it's funny every time.
That's what the people are here for.
Episode 1 was published on June 26, 2020.
2020. Ugh, what a terrible year.
It was a rough one. When everyone started a podcast.
Yeah. I wonder how many of those podcasts are still going.
I bet you not as many as were started. That's for sure. We also asked how many of the Ashaman were turned to the shadow. It's unclear. There's never any kind of exact numbers given. I looked into this quite a bit, but it seems like eventually it would be more than half of them. So Taim has a bunch of them at this stage of the story. I think there's about 50 that Logain had said are super loyal to Taim, that were just naturally sort of, most of them just turned to the shadow on their own accord, not turned with, the 13 Madral or that forcible method. That starts appearing now. At least we start seeing evidence of that now. We get the hint in these chapters, right? With Pavara arriving at the Black Tower and Taim making no effort to hide his evil nature. It's comical, but we'll get to that. But like Pavara, and I think her time at the Black Tower is where we read about this forcible turning of both sisters and Ashaman.
I want to see him sitting on like some sort of dais with one leg over the armrest. I mean, is this what I'm
a throne of some kind?
Or, yes. Is that how he's sitting?
He is on a throne. I don't know if he's got his leg. I don't know if he's doing a Davram Bashir, but he is certainly lounging in a throne and being all.
Maybe he's doing a Commander Riker.
Yeah,
he seems like the kind of guy.
Yes. Then we asked how much time has passed since winter night for Tam's hair to have gone completely grey. And according to that timeline that I used for like points of reference, 747 days at this point. So 2 years and change.
That's enough.
So yeah.
Especially when your son is a channeler. When monsters attacked your village.
Yes, when you were stabbed with a blade from Thakondar, yes. Your hair can go grey. And as someone who is fully grey, I can see that happening pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Jody, you nailed the line from Fellowship of the Ring. It is my brother, my captain, my king.
Of course it is.
We were asking about Tharava's group of Aiel that capture Galena again. As Galena thinks she's free, Tharava rocks up, and we were asking if she had any wetlanders with her, like Wetlander Gaishane. Everyone was carrying a spear, even though only a small number of the actual of the Aiel with Tharava were actual soldiers. It was more like Galena noticed that they were all firstly they were all Aiel, right? So no wetlanders among them. They were mostly non-fighters. So like all the, like the blacksmiths and the cooks and like the regular sort of camp folk, although they all did carry at least one spear. They had a bunch of women on their shoulders, which Galena thought was weird. And that's obviously the wise ones that had the fork root.
Oh, right.
And then Tharava also mentions letting the other Shido clans know to leave their wetlander Gaishane behind and return to the threefold land. So she's specifically giving the others instructions. So the people that they had on their shoulders were definitely only wise ones and not Wetlander Gaishane that they were kidnapping. All except, of course, for little Lena, who is a Wetlander and is going to the threefold land for the rest of her life.
There's a silver lining to every situation.
Then we were wondering, or at least I sort of quite, as is my wont, confidently stated that Lucille was captured by Jordan, the Aiel brotherless that she ended up killing, because Roland was the one that captured Fail, but it's not. It's only after, is it Lucille and, no, I'm not going to remember the other friends. name. There's two of them that escaped together, and then they were recaptured again. And it's after they were recaptured and punished that Lucille forged a relationship with that brotherless Aiel that she eventually does kill. And yes, definitely had an emotional reaction to that. She did have feelings for him. How big was the gateway that the linked Windfinders created to rescue Elayne? They don't say. I had to go back a bit. So the stables that they set up, or the courtyard that they set up as a traveling ground, is 100 paces wide. So that's 100 meters wide. And when the Windfinders create the gateway, it's the entire width. So it's a gateway 100 meters wide and 5 paces or 5 meters tall. So it is gigantic.
Yes. That's bigger than I had imagined.
Yeah.
I was imagining.
100 meters. I don't know, Jody, if you do this, but whenever I have to try and imagine what 100 meters looks like, I imagine the 100-meter sprint at Jeffreys Bay Primary in front of the old hall. Like that specific stretch is what okay, that's 100 meters. My young mind forever imprinted. But yeah, huge gateway.
Were you a kivit?
I was.
Goddamn kivits.
Well, you're a Mossi.
Oh, yes.
Oh, you poor bastard. You won the Spirit Award every year.
The front guy were just in between there.
Oh, they were our biggest challenges.
Yeah, always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
All right, so the last little callback here from me is there is no obvious link between Aramilla's assault on the city and the Black Arger activity. We were saying, coincidence, right? Like, was this some kind of like orchestrated plan by the Black Arger to sort of have Aramilla's forces attack the Farmading Gate while they're kidnapping Elayne? But I think the opposite is actually true, and this is what I've gathered from forum posts and stuff that people point out. The Black Arger often use the chaos of the world to their advantage. So like they may have been privy to information that Aramilla is about to attack or something, and that's what sort of like they set up their plan to happen at the same time. Because you can imagine in the chaos, as we read in these chapters, of trying to secure and hold those gates against Aramilla, they are less likely to have troops and forces at their disposal to try and keep Elayne safe or rescue her after she's been kidnapped. So it's quite likely, I would say, that they actually used the Aramilla situation to their advantage, but not necessarily created it so that they could pull off. I
mean, it almost worked for them. They were out, and they were a mile away from the city or something. It was only because of Brigitte getting the gateway.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they would have been gone.
Because one lousy person forgot to mention one lousy fact that she's got a warder.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think that was going to be useful.
Well, actually, what also happens is when I recap these chapters, because that's kind of where we pick up things with Birgitte, right? Is after the events of inside Millie Skane's house. I was shocked that Birgitte made the choice not to go after the Black Arger like the other warders. I mean, the warders of the slain Aes Sedai, so Jam and is it Suroth's warder?
Makes
like
sense.
They
are just gonna.
They got the blood rage, right? Like the Aes Sedai just killed, so they just go full emo and want to go murder everyone. Birgitte made a sober decision to say, actually, the guardswoman wanted to charge after the warders as well. Birgitte stops them and they go back to the palace, which we'll get to. But like, I thought that was a pretty tough call for Birgitte to make.
She's starting to trust her Aes Sedai.
Mm-hmm.
She shouldn't have.
She could sense what she senses.
But she's trying.
I mean, we're getting into someone's chapter here, but like Elayne is alive, but Birgitte never feels fear from her.
Right.
Which probably gives her the confidence to do
Billy.
that thing. All right, enough of my blathering. Let me use my annoying voice to blather on behalf of our listeners in listener contributions. And the first one comes from Jonna Pierce, who is still riding the crest of a wave of re-engagement that I am very stoked about. So thanks, Jonna, for sending in another nice long email. And here it goes. Good evening. Listening to the latest episode, and I wanted to send in some thoughts that I'd missed sending in before this. Firstly, yes, of course, it's decently obvious Morgase's trouble is regular. Not being good with the power trouble when the cold brood knocks her out immediately upon rescue. Lol, I had not read ahead and did not recall that bit. happens to the best of us, Jonna. It was still an interesting thought. I mean, I was intrigued by it, but yes, I mean, we forget stuff all the time, as you well know. Jonna continues, the whole rescue is kind of hilarious with bottom pinching and random jealousy. Jody calls it with the feelings are complicated comment, for sure. Poor Fail, but even more so poor Roland. Like, oh, dude, you for real kidnapped the wrong lady. Fuck around and find out. Reality is harsh, buddy, because Fail loves Perrin, and she told Roland that repeatedly, but he wanted to live in a fantasy she's my gay Shane land. Welp, fantasy over. Lol, I'm still split on my feelings about him. I think Fail would have preferred not to see him killed. But when it was obviously him versus Perrin, she's always going to pick Perrin. And I agree, Jonna. She did owe Roland quite a bit, but then again, he did kidnap her.
Yeah.
Both of them were raising their weapons in her defense, and she was not in danger from either of them at the time. Every time I read that part, I think about, man, I wish there was some way they could have been able to pause and discuss and come to a better conclusion than what happens. Something more along the lines of, oh, cool, Faila's here, and she's all good now. Okay, you guys go that way, and we'll go this way, and so long, and thanks for delivering her to this point. I don't know, whatever. Feelings are complicated. I mean, we've expressed that conflict or that conflicted feeling on this podcast, or at least I have. Like, I mean, I like all the things that Roland did do for her. Like, he did show a lot of honor. I mean, he helped her out a lot. I mean, saved her life, literally, and saved her from being, like, sexually assaulted and stuff. Like, without him, she would have been in serious trouble. But also, without him, she would not have been there in the first place. So that's the point I keep coming back to. So, yeah, fuck around and find out, indeed. John continues. Anywho, next, something you mentioned was you wondered about, did Elayne learn her lesson here? No, she totally did not. And in fact, this, I think, is a point where she gets more bold about her being safe until she gives birth, and it makes everything worse. Her lovely warder does such a good job saving her skin this time, it makes her even more confident. Later, at one point, I think I recall she had Matt's medallion or a copy of it and ends up stabbed and almost dies because she walks into yet another trap. Yeah, she's not good at learning lessons. So then there is the final bit, the last chapters of the book, nice little bits cleaning up and finishing several storylines. My last bits would be just that I'm really excited to keep reading the next book. Everything's about to roll into that one final day, and it's such a roller coaster. Glad we're all along for the ride. Thanks again for all you do, and I hope you have a great day, Jonna.
Jesus, Jonna, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, love it.
I'm so amped for the next books now. Let's go.
I am convinced now again that Elayne is that ditzy as I painted her to be. Like we yes, there's areas that she's sharp in, but she's a ditzy one. Like, she'll walk into the same trap twice.
You can be those things at the same time. My youngest daughter, June, is like that. She is sharp as a tack. She is an absolute sponge and like is a natural. She takes to maths and reading and all that sort of stuff, but a total dreamer. Like, you're talking to her and she's off in fairyland, you know, like she is just not even on the same plane of reality as you are. And then she comes back and it's like, oh yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, what were you saying? Oh, never mind. You know, like, that's what Elayne is. Like, Elayne is also like clever when she's applying logic, but, you know, seems to be living on a different plane of reality when it comes to her own safety.
Do we forgive her for being pregnant? Her hormones are playing a role in her decision making. She admits it several times.
No,
But later on when she's got the foxhead medallion,
she
she's not
don't get
pregnant.
to play the pregnancy card over here. Not with this.
No.
You don't get caught this many times in the same noose by the Black Archer without it being a clear problem with you.
Isn't she like 19? She's like,
yeah.
I tell you what she is. She's a dumbass.
Teen pregnancy.
At this moment.
But she is alive. I mean, she is right. She did survive. She is
Good
still going to have the
story.
babies, just like men saw.
How many people died to keep her alive because she just ran off and they had to send that army after her.
True.
Hundreds of people are dead.
That's true. That's true.
Not hundreds, thousands.
No, I think it wasn't up to 1,000.
10,000.
No.
10,000.
10,000. No, I mean, in the rescue from the Black Archer, there's only hundreds that are killed.
No, the balefire rod that gets used. Like wipes out thousands in a shot.
Vili, if you were trying to disprove me, you need to go find the evidence. Because I'm telling you, it's like 500.
Here are some facts. There were about 12,000 soldiers in Camelin that Elayne had at her disposal. And when Birgitte is about to send them all through the gateway to go rescue her, Dylan says, no, you've got to leave some of them in the city because you have to defend the gates. And then also they find out that the one gate is under attack, so they can't take all those. So Gaibon takes, I think, just shy of 1,000 people.
You think? There's a lot of thinking going on around here. We need some facts.
I'm pretty sure. Okay, well,
work.
There'll be a callback. Clearly.
I feel like it's in my chapters. I feel like I can.
All right.
The butcher
We'll
bill
get
is
there.
dressed.
Okay, go for it. In the meantime, I will read this message from another super active contributor currently, Marlene.
Hey, Marlene.
She says, Knife of Dreams has flown by. Each chapter has been a huge page turner and some critical plot points have moved forward or been resolved. So many great moments. Couple of points about the last chapters. I thought it was pretty funny when Elayne contemplated making Gaibon a warder. Lol, hot stuff. And now that she has a crown, wonder what she'll want next. Another crown, perhaps? Meanwhile, Banner General Karede is a stand-up guy. Would trust him with my life. One thought for the next set of books as we weigh the Jordan-Sanderson differences. Sanderson admits that he had to write the books in his style to some extent, and I am a fan of his other books. And I too find that some of Matt's dialogue lacking given his recent character development. Interesting take there. I remember specifically Matt being quite different, like being written very, very differently, like just a lot more like, to borrow a term from like recent years as people describe, like, you know, Joss Whedon scripts or Marvel movies, you know, like a lot more quippy, like he is a smart aleck. But Matt has always been a smart aleck, like, you know, like he has been, he's been a sharp and sort of like jokey kind of guy, but Brandon definitely turns that up to 11. But Marlene, her take is that Matt's dialogue is lacking, which is that's a strong take. I would say different, but not necessarily lacking for me. I mean, everyone's
I don't remember
experience is their own.
I don't think I've read about him yet. I mean, I've only read that book once, and that was when it came out. Because now we're into one read territory, not two read.
Yeah, same for me as well. Yeah. Even from that, I remember Matt feeling very, very different. But yeah, like, I mean, it would have been impossible for Brandon to write in Robert Jordan's voice, right? So he knew that is that was you know, that was going to fail in the beginning.
He says it in the foreword of Gathering Storm.
Yes.
You read it like so. We all know that. But it's just so jarring because, especially for us who've been so deep in this world for so long, to like suddenly the tone of the whole world changes around you. Yeah. It's a bit of a shock. But I suppose, I mean, I'm not going to stop reading.
No. And our thoughts on it will become very obvious to everyone that listens to this podcast. It's kind of why we started it, to talk about it. So we will. Anyway, back to Marlene's email. But I weigh that against not having an ending to a series we are so invested in. Can you imagine having to end after Knife of Dreams? Sadly, reading fanfic to imagine the end. I know we got the story or plot that Jordan mapped out, and I did enjoy most of it. It will be interesting to read and debate with this crew. Agreed. Thanks again for your time and talents on this podcast. It is my favorite and at the top of my list when an episode drops. May you find shade and water. Roof Mistress Marlene. Amazing. Thanks for that, Marlene. We've got some voice notes from Marlene later as well. Keep it up. I'm just stoked that we're someone's favorite podcast.
Yeah. Thank you, Roof Mistress.
That's great.
High praise.
Yes. Yeah. Alrighty, so before we get into the meat and bones of our finale, let's quickly recap what happened in the previous chapters in Previously on Blood and Ashes. We have a lot to discuss in today's episode, so I will keep the summary brief. Something I forgot to say right at the top is that we will obviously do all of our normal spiel. This is now 11 books in. Everyone understands that we'll do the chapters, and then we'll do our favorite moment from these chapters, and then we'll have a little moment to just talk about the book as a whole and see if we can pick our favorite moments from the book. No podcast points to anyone that thinks they can guess my favorite moment from the book, because I've been talking about it for 6 years.
All right, so Willie and I will choose different ones.
Okay. Right. Perrin's main forces approach Malden under the cover of Neil's power-summoned fog. During their preparation, Perrin receives word that 2 large parties of Shido are also approaching Malden, but Perrin tells them the plan remains unchanged. Masema is in the mix, and some people are still keen to kill him. Perrin secretly hopes that Masema and his men are killed in the attack. Karede arrives with Tam al-Thor, who instantly becomes Perrin's first captain. When everyone is in place, Perrin walks out of the fog toward the Shido camp. They send a small force, who then see the rest of Perrin's forces emerge from the fog, and they engage. Perrin's army has Wise Ones and Two Rivers bowmen killing Shido at a great distance, as well as the Shaunchan Damane under Tylee Kurgan's command, and the Shido force starts to fall back toward the camp. Meanwhile, Fael's team is still encouraging Magdan to move the red scarf, and eventually they see Aravine find it and call others for help. Roland and some of the other brotherless arrive and start to dig them out from the collapsing building, and once they start to notice the sounds of battle, Roland offers to take them to a place of safety. Meanwhile, Perrin and Aram are fighting their way through the Shido camp towards where Perrin thinks Fael will be, and luckily is. Mid-battle, he barely escapes an attack from Aram, who spills the beans and says the prophet helped him see that Perrin is Shadowspawn. Perrin avoids Aram's attacks long enough for Aram to get shot by Shido archers, and around a corner, Perrin sees Fael and the others and rushes towards them. Roland sets off to meet Perrin's charge, but Fael calls Perrin's name and Roland hesitates, giving Perrin the brief opening to crush his skull. Rip Roland. When Durandon comes at Perrin, Lucille kills him with a dagger in the back. Durandon? Was it Jourdain? Durandon. I said a different name earlier. That guy. Lucille kills him with a dagger in the back. Perrin's infiltrators join the group and they piece together that Galena must be Black Arja. Tylee Kurgan arrives with the captive Savannah. She reports that most of Masema's army has been killed, but he escaped with a handful of men. Tylee shakes Perrin's hand and gives him thanks for the 200 plus Damane she had captured, being the fork-rooted Shido Wise Ones. Meanwhile, Galena thinks she's about to escape when Thorava finds her, strips her of her clothes and the oath rod, and commands her to follow them to the Aiel Waste, where they will remain forever. Galena knows her fate is sealed. Meanwhile, Elayne is having an evening walk in the palace when Sumika and Elise find her and report that Rianne Corley has been killed. Elayne instructs Sumika and Elise to make sure the kinswomen always travel in groups. Duhara, a red sent by Elida to quote-unquote guide Elayne, arrives and starts throwing her weight around, but Elayne sends her packing. Later, Elayne gets info from Samuel Hark that there are 2 Aes Sedai at a house that Doyle and Mellar has visited a number of times, and she knows immediately it's the Black Arja. She makes a hasty and foolhardy plan to go capture them and sets off confident in her survival of such a confrontation because of Min's viewing about her babies. Among her team are Saratha and Carianne, one of whom she knows to be Black Arja, as well as Vandine. When they get to the house, Vandine's warder scouts it and gives them the all clear. When they get to the house, they barge in, shield Falion and Merrilin and bind them with Air and Cheyenne as well. She's about to arrest them when 4 more Black Arja sisters come in, shield Elayne and her crew, and bind them all with Air. They reckon they only need Elayne, so they'll kill the others. Carianne is spared because she is revealed to be Black Arja here, and as soon as Vandine hears this, she stabs Carianne and avenges Adelaus's murder. Vandine and Saratha are unceremoniously killed on the spot. Birgitte immediately knows something is up, despite never feeling fear from Elayne. When the other warders rush off, Birgitte stops her guardswoman from following and instead heads back to the palace. There she gives Gaibon and Dylan some orders, and they have to split the troops between traveling via Gateway to intercept the Dark Friends and rescue Elayne, and also hold the city against Aramilla's forces. She cajoles the Wind Fighters into creating a gateway for her and the soldiers, but before they can leave, she gets news that some of the mercenaries have turned coat and are attacking the Farmading Gate from inside. She has to take only a small force to rescue Elayne, while Dylan uses the rest to hold the gate. They deploy in the hills near the city walls and spot the Dark Friends traveling away from the city. They engage and get hit with all sorts of weaves, including balefire from a Tarangril. Birgitte forces the Windfighters to watch, and they are eventually left with no choice but to intervene. Linked, they easily overpower all the channelers in the Dark Friend group and bind them with Air. And that brings us to our first chapter this evening, which is chapter 33, called 9 out of 10. Vil, 9 out of 10 listeners say they want to hear more from you, so could you please give us a recap of this chapter?
Oh, that's a good read, right? I don't know where you sucked that statistic out of. Good one. I like that. 9 out of 10, obviously referring to the amount of houses you need to be voted a president in
Yes.
Andor. Yes, we are in the point of view now of Elayne. We remember where we left her with the oily rag in her mouth in the back of a cart. She can feel that Birgitta is there, she's close, and that she is jumping ahead of her. She's like, oh yeah, Birgitta's on this, full of confidence. And then there's a crash, there's an attack, it feels like she's lifting up, and there's the sound of lightning and bolts and all of that. In the next minute, the wagon gets opened, and it's the comical gagged and blindfolded view, like opening doors and then getting the blindfold that pull off, and then Elayne says to Birgitta, "What took you so long?" Lame. Anyway, yes.
I like it. I'm a sucker for that.
Rundowns get given by Birgitta, briefing on the how and the whys of everything, and sexy Gaibon is there. Elayne does like looking over his finely turned set of calves, even considers making him a warder, which raised a lot of questions in my head, but I kept on forging forward with what's on the pages in front of me. There's a lot of banners that she notes, of course her own, but also all of the other houses that rode in support of her rescue. But she wants to face these treacherous Aes Sedai, where there's a lot of questions, and some of those questions are in and amongst themselves, to asking how did they know and why, and oh, the warder, and oh, how did you not tell us about the warder, you dumbass, and comedy ensues. But reality is that there is still a battle for Camelin happening, like right behind there, if you look towards the city walls. And they need to get moving. Gaibon is asked, like, what is the losses? And he says about 500 or 600. Jody, as I said,
did he now?
10,000, like you said.
Of course.
Anyway, Elayne is ready to go and charge on, regardless of any help or any objection to her getting on a horse. Like, and there's a sense of relief when they actually just give her a horse. Like, we're not even going to go through this argument loop. Everyone's just like, phew, let's just move on with it. Birgitta is wishing that she and they all have some of Matt's luck. And Elayne, for the first time, I prompted to, what is this with Matt's luck that you've mentioned it before? It's like, you have no idea, do you? Like, just play a little bit of gambling dice with him and you'll understand good luck. Little do they know.
Well, Birgitta does.
Birgitta does. Then the cries go, Elayne of Andor, and for the lilies and all the rest of them, and they ride into battle, but the gates were luckily closed, and they do maneuvers with horse, and they win back the gate and the battle, and it's a victorious whoop maneuver.
Classic hammer and anvil, right? Attack them from behind up against the castle
Yes,
walls.
that was the word, not a flanking pincer, just smash. Smash
Hulk
and
smash.
surrender. They basically surrendered. They realized what was happening.
Yeah, they did pretty quickly.
And the same with the ones inside the castle, because they were realizing that there was just nowhere for them to go. They were being arrowed into oblivion. The gates then swing open, and Elayne rides in all victorious, and Dylan is there with all of the youngsters, and they are all victorious, and it's like this very movie scene of all the heroes coming in, saved, and you can almost
trumpet music.
Trumpet music.
You know,
Prince Ali, elephants standing on their back legs, doing like little jumps.
Yes.
Yes, very well.
That's exactly how it's going to go down.
Now, Aramilla is, she was there, she was arrested.
Yeah.
We get to have the little showdown. Like, they quickly rounded up all of the key players. So it's Aramilla and her cronies. So we all know about Sylvace and all of them. And
Her secretary.
Aramilla was like told that she was going to pay penance and recompense for all of this damages caused by this war.
Mm-hmm.
And Sylvace then immediately just drops her card, and she stands for Elayne because old man died overnight, making her a free vote. She had no competition in being sworn into the seat of power of that family or that house. So
How
she
did
very
the old
quickly,
man die? Seems very convenient the day before the...
it could have been all that rancid stew that he ate that night before.
Possibly.
2 nights
Old men
before.
eating
You
rancid
remember
stew.
how he was smashing those bowls of
Yeah,
like
slurping it
rancid
up.
off stick, loving it. That night it turned for him.
All right. It was food poisoning. that got him.
Poor guy.
Gastroenteritis.
Anyway, yes, that was the word I was looking for. But anyway, the Sylvace turning is like a spanner that gets thrown into the gearworks, and it all comes tumbling down like a barrel of fish. It's just one after the other, they start folding and giving over up until the point where Elayne has the 9 houses. And there's like this eruption of cheer, and all of Andor and all of the palace is happy. Hooray! Elayne has got 9. So that was the Karede, Anshar, Bowen all declared. And then it's like, hurrah! And that's the end of that very quick ride in, and would take the castle from the outside. And with that, the throne.
Almost.
So
Nice.
technically, you can say that Elayne sacked her own castle.
Yes, you can say that.
She rode
You can
in
say that. I
through
mean,
the
you can
back-
say a
through
lot of
the
things.
door in
You
victory.
can say whatever you want.
with
Free will.
prisoners, and they all declared for her, and they're like, "Yay, Elayne is the queen."
Yeah. I found that with this chapter and with most of the ones now, I don't have like an awful lot of notes. You know, like they're all
there's
kind
not
of
lots.
action, just resolution of long-running plot points. But this one is quite a big one because not like it's not only the climax of Elayne's sort of path to the throne, but it's another major blow against the same Black Archer group that they had been set to hunt since like was it book 2 or 3? It was like they've been hunting this group of Black Archer sisters for a long time. I think some of them still
This
get
is
away.
the
Like I was looking
original
at the
reason why they were caught in a trap, because they left.
yes.
And Leandrin
Yes.
was like, "Quickly, come with me into this trap."
Yes.
And they
Yes.
jumped into the bag.
Into this trap.
Tied a knot.
Yeah, so it's like a lot of shit has just got resolved here. Like, I mean, as we have been saying for a couple of episodes now, like just a lot of big plot lines here. Finally, and maybe a little bit in Dylan's chapter later, like just the resolution of Elayne's ascension of the Lion Throne is a welcome end. I'm very glad for that to now be finished and for us to move ahead. Joe, did you have any notes that you want to?
Is this the chapter where Sylvace wants to immediately put someone to the question with her?
Yes, Aramilla.
Oh, Aramilla. Yeah, straight. Like immediately she says it here to Elayne. Like, hey, you want me to torture her? No, just the guy.
With
I've
my
got a
new
guy.
secretary, Master
Yeah.
Lunalt.
Yeah. Everybody's like, what? No.
Which is
Just
why,
chill.
Jody, you're obviously like raising your eyebrows about like how did the old man die? Like Sylvace has shown glimpses in the past of being a bit more compos mentis than what everyone has given her credit for. And she's immediately keen to like use this torturer to extract information. I think it's from Aramilla. I can't think of who else
it must
would be. Yeah.
Everyone else is declared. So what those 3 people declared was Aramilla and 3 other houses there. Sylvace.
It would be
Sarand,
Sarand.
something.
So there were 3.
I
mean-
so Elayne had 6 already.
She had 3 lower houses, or the young
had the-
ones,
The young ones.
And Dylan
Denvar
and her own.
and Dylan. And then she needs 9.
And then she got 3 here.
Yeah,
And she needs to get 1 more. Don't worry. Just hang in there.
it's coming. So yeah, like not quite resolved. You know, she doesn't have all the houses that she needs to get the throne, but at least like her chief opponent or opposition in Aramilla is now 100% dealt with. Just on that Lunalt comment, Joe. Lunalt is the surname they gave Leandrin in the TV show.
Yeah?
Yeah. Which is like a weird deep cut for fans of the books when like other like glaringly obvious stuff was just left on the cutting room floor. But this part they kept.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No? Cool battle. People climbing on roofs, getting shot and rolling off. You know, very cinematic again.
Elayne thinks to herself when she's thinking about the attack, like taking those other people in the rear, like as they're taking the farm gates, are coming up from behind them. She thinks about how, apart from the actual sword fighting, she learnt everything from Gareth Bryan that Gawain and Galad had. And I was just thinking to myself, someone trained by Gareth Bryan should really know better than like running face first into danger all the time. You know, like listen to all of his teaching and apply it all the time, not just when it suits you.
You would think that, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
maybe she's like, yeah.
But maybe she wasn't in all the classes.
She was trained.
Those classes were for Gawain and Galad. And
she was busy putting herself in danger.
Political classes, you know, from her mother. She wasn't there that day for that lesson.
Maybe. The don't risk your own life day.
It was a super important day.
Yeah, what a day to miss. There's a part where someone the spot the trap seminar. There's a moment when they're talking about how Elayne's going to get on a horse and then they're going to go do this attack, and Birgitte says, yes, but you need to stay like well behind or something, and then she makes a joke like, of course, you've read my mind. I wouldn't have it any other way, like being all facetious. And through the bond, Birgitte or Elayne can sense from Birgitte fondness instead of frustration and anger, like is so often the case. You know, like whenever you read about Elayne feeling emotions coming from Birgitte, it's usually like about her either being like hungover or cross or stressed out or frustrated about the state of Camelin and all that sort of stuff. And here, for a change, we get fondness coming through the bond, which is great. All righty, should we move along then? We've got quite a few chapters, more chapters than normal to get through this evening. So let's go ahead then to chapter 34, called A Cup of Caf. Lucky I had my caf after dinner to fuel a rare summary from me. Do you guys say caf or cuff? I say cuff like the Afrikaans.
Caf. You gotta say calf. I don't know.
Caffeine. All right, so who's drinking this caf? We join Furik Karede of the Death Watch Guard as he closes in on his goal of rescuing Tuon. He's entering a Seanchan camp with 80 of his own men and 21 Ogier. He has left some of the Death Watch Guard to wait in the forest, including the Suldam, the Damane, and Ajumbura. There are no Raken to be seen, and he knows most of them were sent west. Side note, to chase Rodel Itarolda into Aradomain, right?
I just read that this morning, yes.
Yes.
I was reading a recap online and I was like, oh shit, yeah, I forgot that's why there's no Raken in these chapters.
Exactly. Yeah. He also notices that the soldiers are all wearing armor, which he reads as the commander being ready for action at any time. Karede dismounts in front of the command tent and leaves Musingi and Hartha in charge of the guards, adding that he wants no violence, no matter the insults they could hear. So apparently there are rumors of Tuon extorting the merchants for gold, and that rumor has found wings, and to his dismay and disgust, it has resulted in some insults to Tuon that he has had to just bear. Like people have been, insulting her around them. Exactly. Musingi is not pleased, but their goal is to find and rescue Tuon. Nothing else matters. His response is actually, there would be fewer insults if we killed some of them. And then,
He's not wrong.
Then Hartha says to him, after they rescue Tuon, they can kill as many of them as they need. And Musingi actually blushes and he goes, okay, after. So they are fully serious about killing a bunch of their own people because of these insults. So these guys need to watch out who they Yeah, me too. Me too. This is actually a theme that we'll come back to, liking Sean Chan characters. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Karede enters the officer's tent and has to make himself keep his hand off his sword hilt as he walks in, introduces himself, and asks to speak to whoever is in charge. The officer in charge here is Banner General Gamel Loon, and he sends out his officers. Loon is wary of Karede, but Karede explains that he merely wants to know about the recent fights in Altara. In truth, Karede outranked Loon, and he could easily have taken command of his forces, but that is not why he is here. So Loon's manservant enters and brings him some kaf. Loon feels compelled to offer some to Karede, despite his servant stating its scarcity, as not offering would have been a deadly insult. After a few cups, Karede asks again about the troubles, as politely as possible. He thinks to himself, he always tried to be polite, even to men he was going to kill. Gotta love Karede.
That's going to make all the difference.
Yep. Loon reluctantly explains that his troops have been ambushed several times by an unknown army, probably using Aes Sedai or Ashaman. 4 significant engagements and around 60 raids and skirmishes. Loon estimates about 6 to 8 other armies that must be operating in the area. Loon also thinks, it's funny, my autocorrector keeps correcting Loon to lounge. Loon also thinks they must have Aes Sedai or Ashaman, since many of his forces are being torn apart by explosions. So this is obviously thanks to Eludra's weaponry. So Matt's army is not using channelers, but the dragons, or like at least the sling versions of or the muskets, the
sling staffs,
the stuff, are ripping people to pieces. But Karede also dismisses this possibility. He says they can't be Aes Sedai or Ashaman with them, because otherwise they would have just used gateways and traveled to safety with tuon, right? So he knows the fact that they're traveling through this occupied territory means that it's probably without the aid of traveling. Karede asks him, what do their prisoners say about them? But Loon laughs and says, to have prisoners, you first need a victory, which they have not had. They've had 0 victories against Matt's army. They lose Sean Chan forces en masse, but can't find any bodies of the enemy. Some of the men have started saying that they are fighting spirits, and he makes it sound ridiculous, but unconsciously makes a sign to ward off evil with his hand. What he does know is that the commanders, plural, of these armies, also plural, are very, very good. So he thinks that there are numerous armies that are very good being commanded by commanders that are very good, when actually we know the truth. Every Sean Chan commander that has come up against them has been completely outmaneuvered and outfought and fought off their feet. Karede still thinks that it is this thom Merrilin character sent by the White Tower, and wonders if Tom's real name could be Agelmar Jagad or Gareth Bryan. When Karede asks if Loon is tasked with pinning these forces down, he laughs again and he says that new troops will be pulled through the Malvine Narrows under General Chison's lead. The entire goal of Matt's plan, right, is to pull those troops through the Malvine Narrows so that he can escape through there. So we see here Loon confirming Matt's plan is working as designed. Karede recognizes this, though, as the ultimate goal of Tuon's captors, but for her safety, he doesn't tip Loon off. Karede can see the pieces in his mind. He knows, okay, that's what they're doing. They're drawing those forces out of the gap so they can get through there. So when they leave here, they ride straight for that gap. Karede thanks him for the kaf, gives him a very polite goodbye, and leaves. He tells his men that they are marching towards the Malvine Narrows. If he remembers maps correctly, which he always does, it should take them 4 days to get there. And if they can't catch up there, they'll follow them all the way to the White Tower if they have to. End of chapter.
Yes.
I love Karede.
Very pragmatic, thinking man, like a parent, but with more wit.
Where did he
Sharp
learn
on his
about
feet.
Thom Merrilin? Where does he know that name from? Ibudar? When he was
Ibudar.
speaking to Eggy?
When he was speaking to what is that? The blonde guy with the badge, the guy that's the investigator.
The Truth Seeker or something.
That guy.
So that whole stint
Seeker for
while
the
they were
Empress.
Thailand and then Ibodar and Matt was healing up. He was
They
around
weren't
in the
exactly
background,
laying low.
cruising,
Coming there.
picking up stompies, finding interesting characters.
Yeah. Before I forget to mention this later, there's a cool juxtaposition here between Karede and Suroth. Because Karede thinks to himself, whenever he's looked at a map, he's remembered it. Like he memorizes it out of, It's not even a habit. It's just that's what happens. And later, when we see Suroth in the epilogue, she's looking at a map of mountain ranges in Aradaman. She can't even remember what the name of the mountains are. Like to her, it's like inconsequential. She doesn't care, which is just like this cool juxtaposition. Someone that we like, someone that we don't like. Someone that's very good at what they do, someone who gets their shit fucked up. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to say? I had my notes sort of just strewn in between all that stuff.
Yeah, you've done a very clear and concise recap of that chapter. A little bit long, I'd say. You could have maybe brought it in, just condensed it a little bit.
Tighten it up a little.
I'll allow you.
I'll try better for the epilogue. All right, then I guess there's nothing stopping us from just marching on straight to the Malvine Narrows. Kidding. To chapter 35 called The Importance of Dylan. Joe, you know the importance of a good summary, so can we please have one?
I'll try. Let me see what I've got here. Where's my glasses? All right, the importance of Dylan, yeah. It's pissing rain in Camelin. And Luan, Arathel, Pelivar, and the rest, those people, the missing guys, with their 60... Yeah, those guys, my favorite. 60,000 troops with them want safe passage into the country. This is a messenger that has arrived from them to talk to Elayne. He's giving her this. And it's like, so now they want to come in. Now that everything's been sorted out. And
into the city.
Into the city.
Yes.
And do they think that she'll arrest them or have them killed or whatever if they entered without her safe conduct? She's upset that they would think that of her. And are they entering as friend or foe? Like, what's their end game? So she's got some things to think about. She has to be a thinky girl. Elayne has 9 houses now to confirm after Aramilla's supporters turned on her and needs only 1 more. Dylan had gone to House Candrade again, but that old shrew Deneen is not budging. So there is 1 house that could be the 10th, but she doesn't like taking sides. I don't think she's a fence sitter as more as she is neutral, like Switzerland. Would you call the Swiss fence sitters, Moritz?
Swiss cheese sitter? I don't know.
Yeah. She decides it's worth the risk to let them in and agrees to allow them safe conduct into the city, even if it's just to talk about the Borderlanders. We have to talk about the Borderlanders. Elayne actually asks Dylan if she's sure she doesn't want to be queen. Like this is too much. I don't like this job anymore. But Dylan's like, oh, hell no, I don't want the job either. She thinks continuity is good. It was Elayne's mother. Now it's Elayne. Let's keep the line going. And Elayne will make a good queen. She's been watching her since she was a kid. Better than her, even better than Dylan herself. And all these compliments make Elayne all teary-eyed. High praise from Dylan was like praise from her own dead mother. She's not dead. But she thinks she is. Enough mushiness. Back to work. Rena tells her that Aramilla's spies are of no use anymore. Because we've already we don't need them. So they could be fired. But Elayne disagrees. They have shown themselves to be unreliable, and if we fire them, they'll just go take coin from someone else. So at least we know who they are and where they are. So let's just keep them safe from other houses for the time being. There's a list of things that's going on. There's a broken window. You're going to have to fix a window. And a bunch of other things that require her signature.
Important stuff.
Important stuff. Next, it's Nori's turn, because if you thought that was boring. In his list of things, he notes that the arsons have not decreased. They've actually increased. There were like 17 fires last night. So they thought it was Aramilla's people that were inside the city trying to cause hassles. But they are unchanged since Aramilla's defeat. He gives Elayne the death warrants for Abalaman and Gomasine for her to sign. The mercenaries that turned cloak. The other mercenary, Cordwin, he died at the battle, so that job's already done. And Bakuvun wants more money. Denied. You did what you were paid for. There's no bonuses for winning. Also, the captured Black Aja and Melar are being very unhelpful they're mostly just saying very nasty things, and they're not answering anyone's questions.
Oh, they're being mean.
They're being so mean, Moritz. Elayne decides maybe it's time to bring in Sylvace's secretary. So it's like, ooh, bringing in the big guns. But Norrie is worried that someone who keeps a private questioner on the payroll might have a dark side and will not be very trustworthy. He's right. So they bribe some of her servants instead. So she asks him if that'll be possible, if they could bribe some of her servants, have some eyes and ears, and he's like, yeah, I'm getting quite good at this now. Only a few months ago, he would have been shocked at the idea of being a spy master, but now he's taken to it quite well. And then it's back to talking about clogged sewers. Sometime after midday, her midwife arrives to weigh her like a duck, or a witch, or churches. She also pokes and prods her. She's literally on a big wooden scale. She pokes her and prods her, and she smells her breath and tastes her pee. She's a full-on inspection, complete overhaul. It's like normal stuff that normal people do. But then goes on to give some really good advice. Read to your baby, play them music, or since in your case you're the queen, hire orchestras to come and play private concerts for you. So after lunch, a small pond... Oh, yes. After a lunch... Let me try this again. Of small pond trout grilled to perfection, cabbage rolls stuffed with crumbly used milk cheese, broad beans with pine nuts, and a tangy apple tart, she meets with Brigitte. I almost got very upset here while doing these notes because I was reading it and it just goes... After the midday meal, she met with Brigitte, and I was like, what? You're not going to describe the meal? I was shocked. I really stopped, and I started writing a paragraph about how you've explained every little detail for the last 11 books. Now you're not going to tell me? And then I turn the page, and then sorry.
There it
stand corrected. There it is.
I think the point that was being made here is that that midwife had said, no, you don't have to eat all this bland food. You can eat normal food. Yeah. And she's so relieved. So it's like a big deal for her. Yeah.
Not normal food, nice food.
Yeah.
Not just goat's milk and tallow. Fatten up.
Yeah, rub some fat on your gums.
Yeah. Brigitte thinks Luan and the rest of them want to ask Elayne, because she's meeting with Brigitte now. I got sidetracked by the food. To help, they want to ask Elayne to help move against the Borderlanders, and Elayne agrees, unless they want her to surrender Camelot, but she agrees. Probably they know about the Borderlanders and think that they need to do something about it.
Yeah.
So in the afternoon, it's time for the big meeting. She gets all dressed up for the occasion, and after spending some time reading to her babies and having musicians play for them, Rena arrives to announce the arrival of Luan and the rest. They get lost twice on the way. Corridors are still changing, but it's just another Thursday, and eventually make it into the Grand Hall. The young lords and ladies are already there with Dylan, as Elayne walks below the adjudicating visages of the former queens, immortalized in the stained glass windows above her. Dylan warns her that Elorian's going to be a bitch. Watch out! Elayne won't let her provoke her. She's like, right, I'm not going to let that woman get to me. We'll see. And neither will anyone else. Conile, Lear, I'm looking at you guys specifically. They've been fighting a lot recently because they heard insults to Elayne and they're defending her honor, and it's becoming a bit much. Yes. Catelyn doesn't see why they have to put up. She's the other ladling with Elorian. She's like, if she pokes me, she's going to hear all about it. I'm going to poke her right back. But Dylan, being Lady important, tells her that the ox responds to the goad and does what the ox herd wants. Like, you're going to be doing exactly what she wants if you respond. Shut up, everyone. Rena appears to announce the arrival of the big guns in order of bigness. Luan first, of course, then Arathel, Pelivar, Aemlyn, Elorian, and Abel. Because I'm not going to say Abel. Or am I?
It is Abel.
Abel? Sure, Abel. They enter in groups. They're already forming little subsections. So Elayne notices, not as united as I thought. Elayne offers them refreshments, and just as Luan opens his mouth, guess who beats him to the punch? At least you're not sitting in the throne, Elorian whines. I was going to do a worse voice, but I forgot it. She's like, I half expected you to be just a real nasty woman. Lear stirs, and Elayne has to glare at him. She replies, saying that she has no right to sit on the throne. Yet. Elorian gives her more shit, but Elayne ignores her and says that she'll have tea. She's kind of deflecting it. Like, hey, let's have tea, everyone. Everyone is stoked to break that tension, and everyone has some tea. But Elorian continues her bullshit. She's poking, teasing Elayne about gathering the children and leftovers as her base of support. Hey, this time it's Conile that gets a sharp look from Elayne as he opens his mouth to say something stupid, no doubt. Elayne's got them on a tight leash. And she wants to know why they requested this meeting. Are we just here to insult each other? What's going on? But before Elorian can fuck things up completely, it's Luan that forestalls her. So they've come for a truce. And Elayne's like, truce? Are we at war? Why do we need a truce? Is there another claimant to the throne that I haven't heard of? And everyone guiltily looks at Dylan. It's like, Dylan. She calls them fools. This is Dylan. Like, she looks at them like, don't look at me. I've told you 1,000,000 times I do not want to be queen. And I've also officially sent my own proclamation of support for Elayne. When all the other captured lords and ladies stuff was sent out, I kind of like threw my letter in their mail kind of a situation. So it's those letters of house swapping to Elayne's side have been sent out to the whole realm, to the smallest village and the biggest city, so that everybody knows that they have proclaimed for her. And so has Dylan now. She put hers in there too.
The press releases has been sent.
It's too late now. So the big six are bummed. They were really hoping Dylan was bluffing and she would declare herself in the end, and then they could get what they wanted. They were trying right until the very end. I'll give them that. Luan, the least bummed, still wants some sort of agreement. They must face the Borderlanders together. He's surprised they've been so inactive for so long. Why haven't they made their move yet? So Elayne tells them that when she gave them permission to cross Andor to Merrilin, I had a chat with them. They want to go to Merrilin. They're in search of the Dragon Reborn. But they didn't want to move yet for fear of sparking a war in Andor, because they could see what was going on between us, and they're just keeping their distance. Elorian, the most bummed, she's all spluttering and indignant now. You did what? You went and you spoke to them? First you're talking about how you have no right to sit on the throne, now you're making decisions for all of Andor and blah, 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 blah. And Elayne tells her, no, I acted as Aes Sedai. Things were touch and go there for a while, and had she not intervened, there would have been war. Now they will move peacefully and buy all the fodder and the human food from Andoran farmers at elevated prices. Apparently the Andorans like to squeeze as much profit out as possible from especially invading armies, I imagine. And she's like, well, what would you have done, Elorian? A bell softly chimes in about the Black Tower. Like, what are her plans for that? So we've spoken about the army. What about the other glaring elephant in the room? And Elayne's like, nothing. What can I do? I send some patrols around every now and again that march around the complex just to let them know that they are in Andor. And then just silence. Everybody goes quiet. And then a bell says House Pendar stands for Trakand. And Luan right after him. Bam. 2 in a row. That's 11. Dylan steps in to say that the more who stand for Elayne, the better for Andor. There's a little longer silence, but then one by one, Arathel, Pelavar, and Amelin also throw their support behind Elayne too. All except for, guess who? Elorian. She's just not going to have any of this. All she has to say to Elayne is that Elayne has the throne. The rest is fluff and feathers, and turns around to leave. She's like, fine, fuck it. Happy queen to see you. Elayne invites her to at least stay for dinner. Baby, it's cold outside. Come in, have some dinner. But old Moody Pants says she has her own cooks and turns to leave. Elayne tells her that Thom and Guidon is close. She'll have to choose a side, to which Elorian replies, when the last battle comes, House Tremaine rides behind the lion of Andor. Nothing about Elayne specifically.
Elayne or Trakand or anything, no.
Nothing, but hey, that's her duty, and she's going to do it, so
James,
that's fine.
words.
As long as you're there.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of them move to Elayne's apartments for dinner as the thunder outside crashes like the drums beating the march to Tarmangaidon. The end.
Yeah. Ilorian really hurt about Morgase's treatment of her. Unfortunate, because Morgase was compelled.
Yeah, I know, but understandable.
Yeah,
she doesn't know
because
that.
Ilorian supported Morgase in her claim. And then Morgase treated her so badly when under Ravin's compulsion that she is like, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
Clearly. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Now I feel sorry for her.
I think there's a hint. There's a hint right at the end of the story where Elayne and Ilorian have a conversation. Or at some point, maybe not at the very end, maybe here in Camelin before Camelin falls. But where Ilorian sort of makes a comment or responds to something that Elayne says that sort of gives a hint that, okay, the road to reconciliation is open. But within the confines of the main series, they do not reconcile. Like, Ilorian is still hurt. And yeah, like you said, you get it. Will, did you have any notes about that chapter? Any little tidbits or comments?
It's a very long build-up, as all of these storylines coming together to a very quick close. From being in the box, quite literally, to being on the throne's top seat, quite literally, in just two very quick three quick chapters. Like, everything's resolved.
Oh yes, and Elaine's queen.
She's queen now.
Mm-hmm. Newly crowned.
Yes.
So
that
crowned.
Is done.
Obviously, there's a coronation, but yes, she has. She's achieved the mathematical majority that she needed.
They've counted the votes and she's won. So, Jody, they send out these letters of proclamation. So, in all the movies where there's some dude that just rocks up to the middle of the town square and he goes, he. It's a lot of he's going around now. Everyone's like, gotta go do a he now.
Probably by Gateway. So, like, it's all happening today.
No. The bureaucracy works with pigeons and horseback only.
Okay.
They'll get the message before Tarmangaidon.
Like the people in Emmons Field give a shit.
They don't get
that House Trakand has succeeded.
We'll check with Lord Perrin and we'll let you know how we feel about that.
Yeah. There's a wolf's head banner here. This is Manetherin, not Andor.
Now, guys, for this book, that is Andoran politics, line drawn, end of story. We've only got a couple chapters left here, and none of them are about Andoran politics. I was going to say Andorans, but Matt's an Andoran, so he is very much represented here.
We just went over this.
Yes. Okay, so then, chapter 36 is called Under an Oak. Will you be a good oak and give us a summary, please?
I'll be a mild oak.
Makes sense to our South African listeners only.
We are up in the point of view Karede, who's on the trail, and the Jimburas found the camp, and they're all cruising in. Some guards staying back. They're going in, and if you want to picture this is like the cowboy
I do.
and his gang riding into the western town, and you've got one guy sort of leaning up against the barrel in a corner, and he raises his hat, and then they glance over, and at another wagon there's another guy standing with a gun that's spitting in like a corner.
Spitting his tobacco.
This
chewing
moment,
tobacco.
it's like riding into the camp. Anyway, there's some gardeners, as I mentioned, that's with him, but he's got one Suldam and Windamani with him, and they were announced well before they got into the camp. The same, he picked up the bird whistle, the communication, eventually he picked up one of the guys sitting in the tree, armor camouflaged, except for the red banner or the red thing on his
Making
arm.
all of the other camouflage useless.
Yes, rendering it useless.
Pointless.
Unless they were all colorblind, then it wouldn't have been a problem. Perhaps
I
this
would not
guy
have seen
is
him.
colorblind, and they
Not a
said you should
chance.
wear a green sash, and then he grabbed the first green sash that he wanted. It wasn't green.
Totally something I
Anyway,
would do.
stop pulling Jody's legs. Eventually, Karede gets to sort of the camp where it's almost like a homey affair at the moment. You know, kettles on the cook fire, people chilling back, whittling
Which meant
sticks.
homie.
No, not like East Side
Like my
homey.
homeboy.
It's more like sort of homey, like campy.
Okay.
Either way, Telmanis hops up and is like, "Oh, fine traveler, what can I be doing for you here on this day? Need directions?" And he announces that he wants to see the man who calls himself Thom Merrilin. And Thom was sitting in the corner there, minding his own business, nearly falls over. It's like, what, me? Why? Yep, he steps up and he gets called General Thom. And what a well planned out battle he had fought, but he's strapped now. He's strapped well and truly indeed because of all of these reasons that he lists. And he just wants, and Thom sort of like, this is all very well, but you want to speak to Matt. And here he hit Karede, had seen Matt, Tylen's toy. He remembers Tylen's toy. And he's quite surprised at the fact that Tylen's toy is running all of this nonsense, which he has. And Toy then steps in and is like, yeah, I hear everything you're saying, but you have only so many men, and they are so far away. And this is actually where what is and what's happening in the lay of the land. And surprises Karede immensely with that move. With him coming closer, Matt, that is, the Aes Sedai, Karede spots them. They come closer and they notice that the Damani that is, which way do I have it the right way? Anyway, the leashed one that is with them was one of the previous sister previously, and there's a lot of commotion, and that's when Matt steps in and there's a bit of channeling. And I think there was an attempt to channel at him, and he's like, sorry, love, that's just not going to work over here. You all settle the hell down. You let go of the shields. You let go of the shields, because Jolene then cried out that she's got her shielded. And Matt just draws lines under it, and Karede is obliged in letting them all stand down and let go of the power. Orders is being given. But Karede notices that Matt is very much in command. All of this, quite a surprise. And then that's where Jolene promises Matt that one day he's going to get his comeuppance. Not going to happen, Jolene. Anyway,
Matt can sense that they're channeling the Damane and the Aes Sedai because his medallion goes cold, right? Yeah. So he tells everyone to let go of the one power. So the Damane lets go of the power, and then he turns on the Aes Sedai and he goes, she's let go of the power, you do it as well now. And then they're like, oh, grumble, 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 and they do it.
And then
Karede is like, yeah, I mean, literally. And Karede is like, okay, he is definitely in command because he's commanding Aes Sedai, right? Yeah. And he's not scared of any channelers or anything. And he is expecting, like when he's talking to them, he's expecting to be obeyed. And then they do obey. And that is what impresses Karede. But what I wondered about was the fact that Matt's medallion, it doesn't tell you who is holding the power. Its temperature fluctuates. I wonder if you could tell that it became less cold when the Damane let go, and Matt made an educated guess about who is still holding the power because he knows these goddamn Aes Sedai and how reluctant they are to give away or to cede any kind of power or advantage that they have. So he just guesses that they are still holding it, and then he shouts at them, and then they do it.
I'm going by Matt has actually figured out how it works. It's quite a big medallion, like it's against your skin. It points you by being like cold. Your skin's a large surface, like tells you exactly who's channeling.
I thought that it only went cold against his chest when they channeled at him.
No, that's
you can sense when they're
channeling at him. It gets so cold that it's going to give him frostbite.
That's the only thing we've read, is that the temperature at which it is fluctuates. Depending, like when it goes really cold, like someone's holding a lot of the power, or they're channeling directly at him, or when someone's just holding the power, it starts going cooler. So that's why I wondered, like, maybe when all the channelers were holding it, it was cold, and then some of the channelers or the Damane let go, it became less cold. So he knew that someone let go, but someone is still holding on, and he made an educated guess about, or maybe like it was after Karede had told the Damane to let go of the power, and then he felt the temperature go back up again a bit, and then he pointed at the Aes Sedai and said, okay, she's done it, now you guys fucking do it as well. Anyway, as you were, Vil, please continue.
Where was I? Okay. And this is actually where Thom gets addressed as General Merrilin, but no, gets corrected. Toy then shows his hand. He's like, I'm not here to do nothing. If Tuon trusts Karede, and they're all flinching every time he just drops Tuon's name.
He says Tuon, yeah.
Going like,
yeah.
Like they don't know how to
next to a
handle
printer.
this. But he's just like, nope, if she's happy to go with you, come out here, precious. Tell me, is this okay? You want to go with these men? And she explains to him that there's a heck of a lot of trust. Quite a tender moment, but these are the good guys. They are not the bad guys. Matt also then informs him, rumor has it there's people frothing for her head at the moment, and they wear your uniform. So it's a bit dodgy out there. But it's at this point where he then says, you can take her. You just better leave because there's a lot of movement. There's a lot of people. Will you be able to get away? And just before then, and just before she walks over, just out of nowhere, she drops 3 Matt Guthon is my husband, dropping with a bloody at the end as well on the third one. And finally, that dice in his head stops rolling.
Yeah.
Anyway, now we
I'd
jump
forgotten
point
about
of view.
the dice.
Now we right back into Matt's head and his perspective now of all of this. And he's like, what, why? Why now? Like, I knew it was going to happen, but why now? He needs to know. And she's like, whoa, hold on. How did you know this was going to happen? And then it's like, okay, he's got to explain a little bit. He explains, the snakes, the people. And she's like, come here with fairy tales. I need a serious moment. And you come here with the gollywog and the gas nonsense. And he's like, look, man, Aes Sedai, this is shit's real. And then, of course, Jolene jumps in like, oh, yes, he did. It's like, didn't help the moment. Anyway, but she knew as well. She confirms. And her fortune was one of the beware of the fox that makes the ravens fly. And his ring was the first one. The second one was the man that knows what was seen Hawken's face and will set you free. So all of that sort of like it was him. He knew his memories, and then he set her free to go with Karede. And that's when she knew. And he has obviously the man with the red hand, the banner of the red hand. So she knew this was it. It had to be. The fortune teller said it so. So she has to.
It was a foretelling, wasn't it?
Well, she went to one of the... Is it someone that has the foretelling?
No, it's one of her Damane that has the foretellings.
Yeah.
She trains. Lily or something. Linny or...
It happened on the ship, I want to say,
Yes.
or she thinks about it on the ship as she's approaching Randland. Yeah.
How specific are we being and how confident in it? It was on a ship in the prologue.
Yeah, it was just before she came, and she says it as well over here. Before she came to...
She's thinking about it on the ship. I'm fairly certain. Goddamn, it's a callback for me for sure.
The ship. I
But
don't know
that's
about
what I remember.
the prologue.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, she had a tarot cards pulled by one of the
No,
animals.
specifically not. she specifically had a foretelling from a Damane.
Tarot
That
cards
nobody
are
needs.
telling, like, come on, it's same. It's all magic and
It's all the
mystery.
same.
Okay.
Anyway, Matt gets the best smile when he wants another kiss, but he's not getting any kisses. No time for kisses.
Well, he's married
Today's
now.
got a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tuon calls him husband already. A very big step there, Matt. It's going to have to get used to being called husband. But Vannon reminds them by spitting through the gap in his teeth, leaning over the panel with his fat belly, like, let me remind you all that there's an impending army charging down of us with bloodlust in their eyes for 100,000 gold coins. 100,000 gold coins can set a man up very nicely for the rest of his life, living a noble life. For her head, and they now know that she is there.
That's a lot of gold
Point
coins, man.
of view changes. We're looking from the point of view of Tuon now, who needs to get ready to move, and she has to pack everything that is dear and precious to her, and it's nothing. It's like, I think she takes the little folded flowers, I would think, maybe that
Yes.
Matt gave her.
Yeah.
But other than that, she's lived a life of riches, so she doesn't care about scruffing out the coins in the corner. So she
Looking
packs real quickly.
under the seat cushions.
Yeah,
Like,
looking for
the
extra
50
traveling
cents that fell
coin
down
or
there.
something. No, not really her style. Karede's with her, and she asks him quite pointedly straight what she thinks of Matt, what he thinks. And she's like, oh, I can't. She's like, stop bullshitting. And he has got very high praise for Matt and his abilities and all this. And that is Tuan then at the end of saying, like, nope, she wants to just get a razor now, cut her hair. She's taking off the veil. She was wearing the veil, sort of a wording of disguise, under disguise, out of disguise. And she will die who she is if she does die. So that's the end of that chapter then. And the end of my contribution for this book.
Excellent. Good one. Matt is married and a noble.
He's been trying so hard to get away from nobility.
Prince of Ravens.
Yeah.
Did you have anything you want to lob in there, Joseph?
No, I was just having fun listening to the recap again. I also read this chapter a long, long time ago.
Yeah, it's so much fun stuff in this recap. A lot of Karede stuff. Obviously, it's like when he's riding into town, he thinks to himself, honor was duty. Duty often meant death. He had always hoped to die in the sunlight. You know, like he's looking, oh, it's a sunny day. I don't always hope to die in the sunlight. Like the hard man, you know, ready to die at the drop of a hat. And when he's riding in, and I think Thom or someone is busy playing Snakes and Foxes with Oliver, Karede thinks to
boy
himself,
he's ever seen.
a remarkably ugly young boy. Called out. Oh, poor Oliver just catching strays. There's when Tuon says the words that, you know, Matt Cawthon is my husband, Matt Cawthon is my husband, Matt bloody Cawthon is my husband. Karede thinks to himself, when he hears Tuon start to say the words to marry Matt, he thinks to himself, it felt like Hartha had kicked him in the stomach. Hartha being one of the Ogio gardeners, right? And then he goes, no, not Hartha, Aldazar. Aldazar is his horse. He feels like he's been kicked in the stomach by his horse. And then later, when Tuon calls Matt by his full name, Matrim something, Matt says to her, call me Matt. And she goes, your name is Matrim. You know, like, no, your name is Matrim. I will call you by your name. But notably, not Toy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She calls him
the time
Matrim.
for that shit is over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Toy is
just
dead
real now.
The courting fun. Courting is over now.
Yes, the game that she won easily.
But the importance of his name, he's now part of the blood. He's married to her.
Yeah.
So his name is his name. It's like, that's like,
But she can
your
change it.
identity is not, yes, you can change your name, but he isn't known by any pet name now or anything. Like, he's Matrim.
No, it would be disrespectful. Like, yeah, Now
Not
he
anyone.
is being held, yeah, like you said, well, like he's on the same pedestal that they put the blood on, right? Like now there's no more fucking around. Knows everyone that is Sean Chan and not named Matrim Cawthon, right? Like Matt's still fucking around.
It's going to be some lessons for him coming.
Oh yes. That's it from me. We have one more full-blown chapter and then an epilogue. Are you guys ready to move along? Chapter 37?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Let's forge it.
Chapter 37 is called The Prince of Ravens. Joe, can you please... Oh, God, no. What? No. I'm not even going to read this out. This is a terrible segue.
Oh, all right.
Gosh.
Now
what
we've got to
will
know
we
what
make
it
it?
is.
No, my interest is tickled as well.
Okay, the segue that I'd written here was, Joe, can you please marshal your thoughts into a recap?
I keep it. Because it is... I do have to marshal my thoughts.
And Matt has to marshal his troops.
Yeah, huh?
You're somewhat distracted, Joe. Come on.
I am, just a bit. So, yeah, Prince of Ravens, good old Matt. So, he's on Pips waiting for a battle to commence. Is this battle between the chapters?
It's
Like the planning of this?
There's a bit of a time jump here.
Yeah.
Because they've now... He's got he's got Musinga and some of the gardeners and some more Sean Chan, and they're making a diversionary tactic to pull the Sean Chan troops away so that Tuon and Karede can escape safely. But I don't recall making this plan. It's happening now.
No, you join them as they're sort of like enacting the plan. So
Yeah.
this plan specifically, more so than any other fight since, I would say, when Matt formed the Band of the Red Hand outside of Kyrian, like running with like troops in the valleys and stuff and dodging the Shido and that sort of stuff. Since then, this is the first time again that I've actually had quite a challenge trying to place the logistics of what's going on. There's quite a lot of positional tactics being held here. Like,
I tried.
They seem to be like they're digging a trench and they're supposed to look tired and that sort of thing, but the trench is also functional, so like it serves more than one purpose, and they also have to get up to a certain range so that they can fire at them. Like again, 5 months have passed since I read this, so it is now especially hazy. But I remember even reading it, I was like, wait, what? What are they trying to do here? And I think, Joe, that it all came together really quickly because, like Willie was saying, Vannon had reminded them, guys, we've got a Sean Chan force coming straight at us, and they know that Tuon is here. So they are moving to attack. So we need to get ready. And then we jump to them actually playing out this plan.
Okay, I just wanted to know, did I just forget to read it? Did I miss it?
No, you didn't. So I would say you probably a couple of hours in the same day later. Like Tuon and Karede, they gone. He left some of his death watch, and then because he said, for this plan to work, I'm gonna have to let them think that I'm you. Like they say, this is the plan. So he sets it up, and they are basically same day, late in the afternoon, half digged up trenches. But
well, let's get to it then. We can break it down as we go along. This is how I've started. They found the perfect spot for an ambush. So what I could make out is that they're in a meadow in between this forest area, and there's like a gap at the bottom where they came in and where the Sean Chan are going to come in too. And then there's like a river to one side and a lake to the north. But they've got their guys, and they've dug this trench, which I imagine is trying to funnel them in one direction. I don't know. I might be wrong. And with the dirt have built a wall. So they've excavated a trench, and then they built this like wall where the guys are going to be hiding behind, the crossbowmen. It's got to be quite a long wall, and they've got stakes in front of the trench, so it looks like they've done some work, but it's not obviously not completed. He's thought that the troops that were, because he's still waiting. There's been no sign of these guys, so he thinks for a second that maybe they did find Tuon and Karede already, and that this is very difficult. This is a very bad idea. But he decided, so maybe he should have gone after them and chased them down instead of making them come to him. But in the end, it's easier this way. They should just come to him and fall into his trap. Aludra is there too with her lofting tubes, and Olva would have been too. He's been getting training in all the forms of combat, hand-to-hand, staff, bow, sword, from all different members of the band, and he's loving it. He's really coming into his own. But he's obviously a child, and he's not ready yet, and he's not coming to this battle, so he's not there. Leilwyn, even I'm going to call her Leilwyn from now on, and Domon are there. The 3 Aes Sedai, Musenge, we know, and the Deathwatch Guard, and like a real mixed bag of people. And Seta and Bethaman are there too as well, but they're just quietly standing in the corner with hands folded. And then, like, again, it hits him that he's married. Still has to kind of wrap his mind around it. It's like, Matt, married, weird. And like you say, he knew it had been coming for a long time, but still. And if Tuon thinks that he's going to settle down now and give up gambling, she's in for a surprise. But he does admit to himself that he probably has to give up chasing women. But nothing else. That's it. So he's got, like I said, he's got some of his crossbow men building a wall. It's just really a pile of dirt. Doesn't look very good. And the guys are like lying around. They're taking breaks. Some of them are dicing. Some dudes are having naps. Doesn't look like he's going to any rush. Now, of course, Matt hasn't told his plan to Musenge at any point. So he's worried, Musenge that is, that their pace is too slow. Like, maybe you should tell your men to get up and carry on working. Like, what's going on with you? There's no way they're going to finish that wall before the bad guys get you. And he keeps calling him Highness as well. And Matt's like, first people were calling me like, Lord, now they're calling me Your Highness. So it's kind of getting on his nerves. And he could tell that Musenge is like, and he really, like, this is all you're going to use? Like, these guys, why don't you get the rest of your archers? And he's like, I know you're probing for information about how many crossbowmen I've got. And like, I've had enough. That's all I'm going to tell you. So, because Musenge is looking at the number here and he's thinking, these are not enough
they're still
to have caused the
thinking they've been
damage.
fighting an army of thousands.
Yes, so there must be more guys. This is not all of them.
Yeah, there's still must be other forces hidden.
Yeah. And he's trying to find out how many and maybe where, and Matt's not giving him anything. But he's like, that wall's not meant to be finished. This is the plan. He wants the Seanchan to arrive and see a half-finished wall with discarded tools on the ground and stuff. He wants to make them think that they've unprepared. Because these guys, I think I read later on, they're 10,000 army strong, have been promised 100,000 gold crowns, so they won't be thinking clearly. They'll see an unfinished wall and think the band is vulnerable, and hopefully will turn off their brains and charge. Spoilers, they do.
They do.
Vannon and 2 Ogier gardeners burst out of the trees from that little gap straight in front of them. And I'm thinking, it seems like Vannon's new job is to go find the bad guys, rile them up, and then run back, lure them back into a trap. Because this is the second time. The last time was on that road in the valley where they got the archers from both sides. He was doing the same thing. So everyone rushes to pick up their tools and pretend to be working, pretend to be startled, So if anybody's watching from the trees, it'll look genuine. The rest of them line up in front of Aludra, and they are armed with these sling staves, but they won't be slinging stones. Aludra has made them hand grenades. Those little cartoon hand grenades with like fuses coming out of them. Slow burning fuses. You don't want that thing to explode before you throw it. So as Vannon passes the wall, the crossbowmen drop their tools, and then they start putting on helmets and picking up crossbows, and everybody starts getting into formation behind the wall and in front of the wall and everywhere else. And Matt trots over to the Aes Sedai as the first of the Seanchan forces arrive. They're mostly Altarans and Amadicians that have been promised this 100,000 gold. I don't know if these are actually... Have they got any Seanchan with them? Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
They do.
Sorry, I'm answering my own questions in real time. They draw rein, surprised by what they see. This bit of chaos going on, people putting on armor and like to have been surprised in the middle of doing something. Matt spies them out with his looking glass, and then a Seanchan bugle sounds, and they start approaching at a walk. Not even a trot yet. And he's like, good, my sillies. Don't think, calm. It's time to unfurl the banner of the Red Hand. Someone's got a banner, obviously. And Matt thinks to himself, like, there's no tuon here, you fools. You'll be fighting us today. We've got to let them know who they're going to be fighting. So there's a band of the Red Hand flag flapping in the background. Eludra lets off one of her night flowers, and some of the approaching forces look up and marvel, but none look back behind them, where Talmanes is bringing up the 3 banners of horsemen that he's got. So they also hammer and anvil technique is going to work everywhere. When the enemy forces are 400 paces away, Mandevwin, he's still there, I forgot to mention him, orders the crossbowmen to loose. Again, like we've seen before, we see 1,000 bolts darken the sky, and immediately they reload as the second rank looses another 1,000 bolts, and there's 3 ranks. So 1,000 bolts, 1,000 bolts, 1,000 bolts, and then by the time the third rank is done, the first rank is wound up, has cranked up a new one, and is ready to go again. So it's just non-stop. And there's a line in the book, and the horses are light, the poor horses, falling by the hundreds, screaming horses everywhere as well. But there's no time to mourn the horses. It's time for the third rank to loose, and then there's another 1,000 bolts, and then, like I said, just non-stop. The arrows start falling among his men too, so some of the oncoming guys have put down their lances and swords and switched to bows and arrows as well. And this is when Matt turns to Jolene. He's like, you guys can join in any time now. She's like, nah, I don't feel like I'm in danger yet. Because of those 3 oaths, she really can't force herself unless she feels more in mortal danger to defend herself. So, and then Talmanes and his 4,000 horsemen, because later on it says 4,000, so that's what's in 3 banners, or whatever it was called, come into range at the rear, and they announce their arrival with 4,000 arrows from 4,000 horsebows. Again, just cutting through the enemy. Some of them turn to attack, but most are carrying on straight. They want tuon. They haven't even looked and seen that there's a red band of the Red Hand flag, although they probably wouldn't care. 100,000 gold promise is turning their brains to mush, and they have got the money lust, the gold lust. So it's time for his crossbowmen, Matt's crossbowmen, to fall back and form a square around Matt. And then it's time for the staff slingers to start doing their jobs. So they light their grenades in the sling and chuck it. And they land among the oncoming forces, but before they can explode, the staff slinger guys have already loaded the next volley. And they've been, put a fuse in to kind of delay when they go off. But when they do explode, they explode in a roar and a burst of flame. And that's then we find out that Eludra has encased them in shrapnel. So it's not the actual explosions killing people. It's hard pebbles that she put inside before she wrapped it all up. And they are flying around at the speed of sound, just ripping through horses and humans alike. 3 arrows almost hit Matt. I think at the end of this battle, he's going to look like a little pincushion. Like one just tugs at his sleeve. The second pierces his sleeve and actually gets caught on the fletchings. And the third rips open the shoulder of his coat, but he doesn't flinch. The enemy forces are now curling around to envelop the crossbowmen around the wall. And it's roundabout now that Jolene says, like, oh, okay, she feels like she's in danger. So her and Teslin and Edicina join the fight, and it's fireball time. Fireballs the size of horses' heads, making people explode. We've seen it all before. But even with the Aes Sedai fighting, the attackers are not deterred. The battle fever and promise of 100,000 gold crowns are more powerful motivators than 3 Aes Sedai. They're not going to turn the tide this time. So a wall of dead people and horses is starting to form around the square that Matt and the Aes Sedai are in. They are throwing fireballs in every direction, and the crossbowmen are still working those crossbows, and men are trying to ride horses over this wall of dead people and horses, and others are just, dismounting and scrambling on their hands and knees to get in. It's crazy. It reminds me of like a zombie movie, And then suddenly it's all quiet, except for the moaning of the wounded and the shrieking of a dying horse nearby. Matt can't see anyone between the wall of the dead and Talmanes, so it's done. They're all dead. None of the attackers try to flee. They are literally all dead or all in the process of dying. They have to organize a hauling effort to free Matt and the Aes Sedai from the ring of corpses that surround them. They can't get out. I mean, you could climb over them, but people are like, no, just move them for me.
Nah.
Hartha and the other Ogier want to find the traitor. And they have no qualms about climbing over dead horses and dead bodies, so off they go. Jolene tells Matt that he owes her a debt now for them taking part. They don't take part in people's private wars, implying that it was the Aes Sedai that settled the matter, but Musenga is quick to chime in that it was crossbows that settled it. Maris the money. Like, oh, nasty. So here's where Musenga realizes that Matt never had any more crossbow men than this. This is just how good they are.
Yeah.
It's been this group the whole time. By the time they clear the gap through the corpse wall, Hytha has returned. They found the traitor and have brought his head. Musenga is shocked to see who it is. He recognizes the man, the severed head, and says they have to show tuon the head as well. She'll recognize him too. And I'm like, did I miss something, or do we not get told who this person is in this chapter?
Not in this
No,
chapter.
we get it last.
I think only in the epilogue.
All right. I forgot in the epilogue. I haven't read in such a long time. Where am I? So yes, after calling Matt Highness now 3 times in a row during this last conversation, Matt tells him just to call me by my name. Please stop with this Highness bullshit. But Musenga informs our foolish Matt that when Tuon married him, he became the Prince of Ravens. Matt can only laugh, all this time trying to convince everyone he's not a lord, only to end up as a prince. The end.
So this is the battle that I'd completely forgotten existed, right? Like until I read this chapter, I did not remember this battle at all. So what a nice little bonus.
And it's not a skirmish. They are attacked by 10,000.
It's an important one. It's where like the guy that the link to Suroth is unveiled. It's Karede and the Death Watch guards meeting Matt and Tuon marrying Matt, and then running away while Matt holds back this attacking army. It's a significant event, and I had completely forgotten about it. So stoked.
Me too.
Great. Vil, did you have any notes or any comments that you want to add in there?
Oh, it's ruthless. It's like a arrow machine that just churns in threes. They're just non-stop.
Brutal.
1,000.
In 3,000.
1,000.
Wall
1,000,
of corpses that they can't get out of.
It's like, we've breached the wall, sir, and then arrow hits them in the neck. It's like, but next time they won't have arrows. And then the next line climbs up, and then
it's hectic.
You've got to imagine the amount of crossbow bolts that they must have to produce at the rate they
and then
go through.
go pick up afterwards, right?
You're going to have to recycle, man. You can't just leave them there.
Those bolts are a lot thicker, but I think they're shorter as well. So they're very reusable.
And from what I understand from this description and my understanding of how this thing works is that they don't have arrowheads on them. A bolt is just a pointy stick.
Could have an arrowhead. They've got.
I wonder if his
the armor-piercing bolts are like not a broad head like an arrow, right? Like it's not a wedge.
Just a conical one.
I think the ones that puncture are like just a hard round. I want to say like a hollow point shell, but it's not. It's not a hollow point bolt.
No, like a conical.
It's not an arrowhead.
It's just a conical, just to break through.
That's what I think.
Not cut.
So making it easier to load. It doesn't have to go in a certain way for the arrowhead to fit.
Either way, they are being absolutely taken to pieces.
Yeah, like people's limbs are exploding when the arrows are hitting them.
Yeah, legs are getting ripped off. Yeah.
Now, bear in mind, Tuon has had a fair amount of these now. There's been 60 of these skirmishes that she's firsthand seen Matt kill her countrymen and the people that has been standing for her countrymen. Now, the people that she's like, cool, this is my Death Watch guard. Some of them stay behind with Matt. This is the first time that they get introduction to, she just married this guy. Then he shows them, this is why. And it's just a bloodbath.
It's so good, hey. It's so good. Tuon would be used to seeing fellow Seanchan people die because they fight amongst themselves all the time. They are this like incredibly well-honed military nation with no enemies around them. They're fighting and honing their skills against each other.
You just...
so like there's there's lots of sort of Sean Chan on Sean Chan violence back on the continent of Sean Chan. So I think it's not so jarring for Tuon to see Sean Chan be killed with whomever she is allied with at the moment.
She's like a heartless, high blood. It's a lot of shit that doesn't bother her. That should will bother normal humans.
Yes. Yeah. That you remember Comadrin was the guy that wrote that book, the Wheel of Time version of The Art of War. That quote that Matt gives to Musengi is here: a general who draws his sword has put aside his baton and become a common soldier. Matt quotes him again. I wish we saw more of the Ogier gardeners, just the way they described it. When they come running through the trees, they keep pace with the horses at a flat gallop, their axes swinging like a sawmill drive shaft. You know, like they've got these huge axes that they're obviously holding like parallel to the ground, almost like a drive shaft on a train or something as well.
Yeah.
You know? So like as they're like pumping their arms, they're still running with these huge axes as well. It just makes like a cool image. And then I had one more point, which was, so the news of the death of the Empress had not reached these guys yet. There's a mention of it now in the epilogue. But that news had only just reached Ibudar. So here, these guys, they don't know that not only is Tuon the daughter of the Nine Moons, she is the Empress.
Yeah.
Yeah, not yet at that point in time.
They don't know, but that is actually the case.
Taken off the veil or something. What was it? Removed the veil.
Well, that's like when she came to Randland, she was wearing the veil. She was under the veil.
Yes.
In fact, the chapter where she's introduced, I think is called Under the Veil. And she was not there sort of claiming her official position as the daughter of the Nine Moons. So even taking off the veil and shaving her head and everything was her just being daughter of the Nine Moons again. That wasn't her. The taking off the veil wasn't her claiming to be Empress yet. It was just acknowledging and standing as who she is. That's why she says, if I'm going to die today, I'm going to die as myself. And that's why she does all that stuff. All righty then. All we have left to do is the epilogue. I remember assigning myself 2 chapters and I was like, oh yes, the epilogue, of course, that makes sense. It's nice and short. It wasn't quite as short as I'd hoped. I had to put a bit of work in, which sucks. I don't like work. Well, not extra work. But let's get through it then. The epilogue is called Remember the Old Saying. Do I remember enough to sum up this epilogue? Let's find out. Suroth is running over the strategy of the defensive in Aradoman in a room full of clerks at Gulgan's insistence. She would rather not have had them there to overhear her conversation, but Gulgan assures her that they are all trustworthy men and women. The conversation she's concerned with is the news from Andor regarding the death of the royal family and the widespread unrest as a result. All of the blood have their cheeks smeared with ashes in mourning for the death of the Empress and the Empire being in near ruin in the aftermath. Suroth plans to have Gulgan killed as soon as Elbar brings news of Tuon's death, remember that name, Elbar, to leave a clear path to the Crystal Throne. No Empress, no Daughter of the Nine Moons, no Gulgan. So Suroth, Gulgan, and Yamada discuss the situation in Aradoman, and it looks dire for Lieutenant General Turan, who was the guy that was sent to follow Rodel Ituralde. When the Seanchan in pursuit of Rodel Ituralde entered Aradoman, a force of about 100,000 soldiers descended from the mountains, and another 200,000 came up from behind, likely accounting for the full strength of Aradoman. So the plan that Rodel had laid out to the Domani Dragonsworn and the splintered nobility in our first meeting with him, remember when he goes and he meets those guys and he's like tugging on his earring to like create a certain air? This is the plan that he has sort of laid out in front of them. And here's the part where I noted Suroth doesn't remember the name of the mountains that these soldiers had descended from. Stark contrast to what we had learned of Karede. Suroth remarks that all the people of Tarabon who are able to fight should have been enlisted, but Gulgan opposes her by remarking on Tarabon's lack of loyalty. Gulgan has promoted Tylee Kurgan to Lieutenant General and to the Low Blood for her capture of 200 plus Damane and the destruction of the Shido. Suroth had dithered on the decision, and he had ordered to return of the Raken to Altara and Amadisia. So Gulgan has now stepped in and said, okay, Suroth, you're fucking around here. This is what's happening. I'm promoting Tylee Kurgan. I'm bringing the Raken back. You're not doing this properly. Suroth then obviously freaks out and lays outright claim to the command of the return as commander of the Forerunners, but Galgan suggests that the Forerunners have now actually been subsumed by the return, implying that he should be in charge. But he's interrupted by the arrival of several Deathwatch guards, and Suroth's attention becomes glued to one small, dark woman, Tuon. Suroth realizes that if Tuon had come all the way here, she would have heard the report on her family by now and would therefore know her new rank. So Tuon is here as the Empress. Suroth kneels automatically and pretends to play nice with a claim of relief for Tuon's safe return. But Tuon commands Karede to show Suroth what Captain Musengi brought her, the rotting head of Elbar, Suroth's agent. So he is that guy, Joe. Even then, Suroth tries to play the game by plotting how to lay all of this at the feet of Galgan. Like, in her mind, she's like, oh, if I can just get in a room with Tuon, I can make it sound like this was all Galgan's idea. But Tuon sees right through her and exposes her entire plot before naming her Dr. Vol to serve the Deathwatch guards as they wish for as long as it takes for her hair to grow to an acceptable length so that she can be sold on the slaving blocks. You know, like, Suroth obviously has her hair shaved like the blood. So she's going to give Suroth to the Deathwatch guard to use however they want until her hair has grown out, and then she can be sold as a slave on the blocks. To her horror, Suroth is made Dr. Vol, and she can't even reach her knife to open her own veins. Eerie, or not eerie, but like a real good parallel to Galena's end here. Hey? Then we switch to Pavara, who arrives in Andor via Gateway. I bet you're wondering how she knows the weave for traveling. Stay tuned. They had travelled from the Ogier Grove in Tarvalon and planned to return there so that nobody would see them moving in and out of the city. Javindra seems less interested in the weave for travelling than she is in the fact that Pavara knows the weave for bonding a warder, and she asks Pavara how she knows it. Pavara reminds her that she had previously said that the Reds could benefit from having warders, so Javindra shouldn't be surprised. So she's evading the answer, but the actual answer is that she had asked Yukiri, a fellow Black Archer hunter, and that even when she asked Yukiri, she had to sort of like play her cards close to her chest so that Yukiri doesn't figure out what Pavara is trying to do to actually go bond, not just a warder, but Ashaman. So Pavara has 5 other Red Sisters with her. Javindra, who was with Pavara when they presented the idea to Tama, the current highest of the Red Archer. Remember, the 2 of them were sitting in Tutama's office, and Tutama agreed, okay, yeah, you two, go get some other sisters, go bond some Ashaman. Tana Fear is there. It was her idea. She had recommended to Pavara that they do that. Remember that awkward conversation that they had?
Yes.
Jezrael, who keeps a miniature of the boy that she almost married. Desala, who never says no to a dance, when asked by men, and Malaire, who continues to pay for her grandnephew's education. So these are all small clues about each of these women that led Pavara and Tana to approach them with this plan. So like the fact that they're still paying for a nephew, or dances with men, or still has a miniature of the man she almost married. These are all reasons they think that they don't fully just in principle hate all men. They are showing some signs of being a bit softer than your general Red, so that's why they were selected. Tana Fear was in Elayne's office when Biernan showed the weave for traveling to Elayne. So Tana knows traveling. So unbeknownst to Elayne, because Elayne doesn't know anything about this, and I'm pretty sure to Tama, I don't know if she knows that someone in this group knows traveling. So like secrets within secrets, like this group is like splintered off, and they've created gateways to travel directly into to the Black Tower. Reports from eyes and ears made the Black Tower pretty easy to find. So unfinished walls around 2 crenellated black towers, obviously meant to guard a gate, although there is no gate between them at the moment. 3 men greet them at this gate: Samuel Alcine, and in Kazan, 2 soldiers, and 1 wearing the sword of the dedicated. After learning that they want to be taken to see the Mihail, Mazrim Taim, the dedicated is startled to realize that they are all of the Red Archer, for obvious reasons. He leaves through a gateway to inquire after permission, and the Aes Sedai are left in the care of the 2 soldiers. Pavara is hesitant to use the word Mihail, as it implies that Taim is leader of everything. Samuel Alcine seems barely old enough to have left home, and Desala addresses the issue to him. Kazan responds that he's a real fast learner, and as Alcine's chest swells with pride, the Aes Sedai decide that they will bond no children, definitely no children. So they're noticing how young this kid is, and they're sort of saying amongst each other, if we're bonding people, we are not bonding children under no circumstances. After about half an hour of seemingly unconcerned waiting, the dedicated returns with news that the Mihail will see them. He does not, however, show them the way. His reason is that the Mihail doesn't associate with the likes of him. Bavara stores this intriguing statement for later thought. So obviously, this is one of the guys that Mazrim Taim has not brought into his inner circle yet. A Terran Ashaman meets them on the other side of the gateway and leads them to the Mihail. He takes them into a small palace adorned with tapestries of battles and into what must be like a throne room where the ring of columns supports the palace's largest dome. Around 100 Ashaman stand to the sides of the room. So here we can see Taim's numbers are already really, really high. Also, the floor tiles are red and black, and I'm pretty sure those are Moradin's colors.
They are indeed.
Mm-hmm. Taim lounges on what can only be called a throne, and his air of physical strength and darkness draws their attention. Instead of wearing the collar pins of the other Ashaman, blue and gold embroidered dragons circle the arms of his coat. Taim asks the sisters what 6 Aes Sedai of the Red Arja want with the Black Tower, and cuts Bavara off when she starts introducing them. He wants reasons, not names. Bavara says that they want to bond Ashaman as warders, but only with the man's full permission, unlike the situation of the Red Sisters already bonded by the Ashaman. One of the Ashaman around the room, Mishrael, speaks out against this, and Taim hits him over the head with the power, knocking him to the floor. A fellow Ashaman attests that he still lives, but Taim says that there'll be no healing for Mishrael until nightfall. If he survives until then, he can have healing, and it was obviously meant to be his lucky day. This is the discipline of the Black Tower. After further explanation of the bizarre request Bavara is making, Taim curtly grants the bond of any man who concedes. Bavara is surprised at the brevity of his decision-making, and Taim replies, "Let the Lord of Chaos rule." I think he even couches it. He's like, "Don't forget the old saying, let the Lord of Chaos rule." And his laugh is echoed by the men standing around the room, and it makes the hair on the back of her neck stand up.
Me too.
It's as that rightly should with this one. They're like, what did we get ourselves into here?
And that is literally how the book ends. Yeah. That is on that line. And them laughing maniacally. And I was just thinking to myself, so subtle, guys. Come on. And then I was wondering if let the Lord of Chaos rule is a line from the Dark Prophecy. And could they be showing their hand here by quoting the Dark Prophecy to Aes Sedai who might be familiar with the Dark Prophecy? But it's not. It's not in there at all. So they're a bit safe there. But still, just the way they're behaving and the look of this place and what is happening, the way he treats the Ashaman, smashing him in the head and just being keen to let him die.
If he survives, he can survive. You can heal him.
Yeah. And that, my friends, is the end of Knife of Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A whole book.
Suroth, dealt with. Bavara, in a tricky spot. Tricky spot.
Galina, Kazban.
Galina, dealt with. Savannah, dealt with. Suroth, we're not going to be reading about these people anymore. Yeah.
What about Roland? What happened with him? He got.
Oh, he's also dealt with. Yeah.
Seriously dealt with.
I like John is saying, "Fuck around and find out."
Yep. There you go.
Did you guys have anything you want to say about that? Again, I sprinkled in my little observations as I went along.
No.
The best bit for me of that epilogue is obviously Suroth's bit. Just tuon rocking up with her god. This is not just easy want. It's not just me and my handmaid. It's the Dopras. There's no out. It's
the full force of the Seanchan Empire is present in that room, and she speaks with the authority of the entire people. Suroth, you are fucked. Sorry for you. Kind of have to almost respect Suroth's determination to try and like plan her way and like, you know, wiggle out of trouble and lay it at the feet of Galgan. But yeah, to no avail. Suroth is too clued up. All right then. Well, if you guys didn't have any further notes on this epilogue, do you have your favorite moments from these chapters?
All right, go.
Lay it on us, Phil.
My favorite moment is the sweet little memory between Tuon and Karede. that she sort of, whether it is to test if this is still the same man, but about a doll that he kept in remembrance, which we heard about in the beginning, and then him saying yes, but he lost it in the fire, and then she adding the information around, yes, sorry to hear about your son, but he was very brave. Sort of like makes him feel like, wow, she actually kept tabs of me while I left and I wasn't there with her anymore, but she still kept thinking about me, like the role that he had played. And it's like, cool.
Very
I'm
cool.
so stoked to see that she is being put in the care of someone like that. Because if it's not going to be Matt, then it's got to be that.
Karede just like leaping up the ranks of favorite characters. Hey, like the guy is moving up at a rate of knots for me. Like I am super into Karede. I think he's fucking cool.
Awesome. He's amazing. The whole Death Watch guard is just a different level of, and also shows independence in thinking. They're not just blind followers.
And just like, almost like maybe even more so than land, just like levels of honor and nobility, and like being noble, not nobility like in the bloodline, but like, you know, just being a noble person. And like how, like when he says goodbye to that Gamel loon, he's like, we will meet and see Andor one day. Like one of the most like polite goodbyes you can give someone. And he's like, and then Loon is like surprised by the polite goodbye. And he's like, why would he be surprised? You know, like he shared cuff with me. Like I'm just talking here, while at the same time entertaining the idea that he might have to kill this man, and you know, like he could take over his whole troop and stuff.
And the other guy knowing it, which is why he's surprised.
Yeah,
it's like, I'm lucky to be alive.
But that connection that he has with Tuon is fucking cool. He obviously talks about it a bit. I forget now what the stupid truth seeker's name is, but like they talk, because the truth seeker knows about Karede's sort of unusual behavior, even for a Death Watch.
What was his name? He's a truth seeker that was always on.
Someone look it up.
Lalwin's case.
Almurat Moore.
That's
Moore.
The one.
That's the one.
Thanks, Jody.
Yeah.
Yes. When they talk, he's sort of like outlining, so, you know, Karede, you were relieved of duty, or like, you know, when you had a choice to sort of like move into a different rank or a different position, so you asked to stay with Tuon, and then like you kept this doll, and you're like, you know, all that stuff came out early, and then to hear, like you said, Tuon repeat that back and fill in some of the gaps and show that she was like also emotionally invested in his family. It's just cool. It's cool when cool things happen to cool characters that we like.
Yes.
Any honorable mentions, Vil?
Out of this one, I mean, there's a lot. There's battles and all of that. I just like that little tender moment. I mean, it's non-stop battles and everything that we go through. There's not a...
Yeah, it's funny, like when it's all battles all around, our favorite moments are like the little moments like between people. But when it's been really boring, a battle, yes, favorite moment, kicking ass. How about you, Joe?
Mine's a stretch. It's a theme. It's a character arc.
Okay.
It's Matt. Of course, it's Matt. Matt stopping this toy nonsense and becoming Matt again, and then becoming the Prince of Ravens within like seconds. It seems that he's back to leading his army. He's back to kicking ass. Everybody around him is going, "Whoa, this fucking guy! Look at him. He's not just this sex toy."
No. Do you want me to read verbatim what mine is, Jody? Got to be Karede realizing that Matt is the one in charge, and an incredible general, and now the Prince of Ravens. It's cool because he is so consistently unflappable. You know, like Karede is always in control of his emotions and everything. But when he realizes, oh, not Thom, it's this other guy, Toy, this, you know, like boy toy from the palace who was dressed in pink. Remember, like he was all pink clothes all the time,
bows and ribbons on him and shit.
Yeah, this Poppin' J. It is much like yours, Joe. Mine is not necessarily Matt's actual evolution and his character change, but for me, the satisfaction comes from everybody realizing it. Tuon's comments about him being, oh, he's not a cage lion. He's a lion on the plains now. Like her slow realization of seeing him in action, and then everyone else, you know, like Musengi, Karede, all these guys now when they see Matt doing his Matt things. coming to realize. And I'm super excited to read how Matt influences the final battle as well, because I can't really remember, but I know that there is at one point when they find out the great captains have all been compelled, Matt steps in and they're like, okay, great. Okay, we've got the best one out of everybody is in charge, so that's all right.
He is like 1,000 great captains in one.
Yes. Do you have any honorable mentions, Joe?
No, I don't. Everything else was shit.
I had 3 honorable mentions, 2 quick ones on just the end of things, the end of the Siege of Camelin and the end of Suroth. Done. Stoked. And the last one is the little teaser of Pavara at the Black Tower. That's going to be, because the story obviously is really big at this stage, right? Like nations moving around in big armies and stuff. But Pavara's little story within the Black Tower is obviously super, super dangerous with just considering who she's surrounded by. And also really cool. And it's where she forms that bond with Andor. And where they bond each other and they form the telepathic bond so that they can actually communicate telepathically. That's all cool shit. So I'm really keen to read about that. Then we've got some favorite moments from John Pierce, who says, I love how Tuon gets Suroth like, bitch, no way are you going to be able to talk your way out of this mess, and no way will you get off easy like killing yourself. I love how Matt keeps going, OMG, I'm married, but do I love her? It's peak. Their whole dynamic is just ridiculously hilarious to me. Overall, this book is excellent, amazing Matt moments. Knowing Aludra is getting closer to having those dragons and the foreshadowing there, chef's kiss. Poor Rand, though, with his hand loss. He's such a trooper, just writing it off. Okay, I guess this is about a previous chapter. I can't hold this against him because I need to deal with him. But he doesn't know about Matt taking care of that for him, blah, blah, blah. John is just saying they need a catch up with like each other so they can communicate better. Fucking pigeons. I feel like they should just use the color swirling to their advantage more often. Which I think like some of them are starting to get like clear visions, but they don't use it at all. I don't think they actually get any practical use out of it. And then for favorite moments, we've got a voice note from Mick Halverson. And it goes a little something like this.
Hey guys, Mick Halverson here. Just wanted to share my favourite moment of this last section. So my favourite moment is the Prince of Ravens. I just love it when you see the chapter title, and if you've read the series before, you know what's coming at the end. Then you have a chapter with a good fun battle with Matt winning again, and right at the end, Matt realises that even though he's been going around telling everybody how much he hates nobles, now, well, he bloody well is one. I love it. It makes me laugh every time.
Us too, Mick, makes us laugh every time as well. Obviously, you are singing from the same hymn book as us here, that Prince of Ravens reveal is good with a cool battle and just Matt being Matt. It is, to borrow a quote from Jonna, chef's kiss. Mm-hmm. Quintessential Matt. Now, if you think I'm moving on from Mick's message rather quickly, it's because Mick has sent in another one that we will get to. But in the meantime, Merrilin sent in a message highlighting her favorite parts too. She says, I thought it was very amusing when Matt was calmly watching Karede spin out his estimation of the quote-unquote plot while he addressed Thom and then rebuts his whole story. And of course, the so romantic Sean-Chan marriage ceremony, finally. I mean, I can sense Marlene's tongue firmly in her cheek here when she says how romantic the ceremony is. Chapter 37 was great. It gives us a battle, a traitor, and a prince. And in the epilogue, another dark friend bites the dust, and Jordan does deliver with the karma. Both Galena and Suroth's fate is sweet indeed. I might add that the equally destructive Elayne has a karmic end in her near future. I think that stuff happens in this book, doesn't it? In Gathering Storm, I think the attack on the tower happens here.
It better.
Yes. Okay, so that is it for favorite moments from this section. Let's take a little moment to talk about Knife of Dreams in general. I went and I checked just the sort of... first, I wanted to just see like what are the major storylines that are addressed in here. So obviously Elayne's, Rand's, Perrin Fail, Matt and Tuon, and then there's little bits and pieces of all kinds of other stuff, but those 4 main ones. So with Elayne, it's the whole, claiming of the Lion Throne. Elayne and Birgitte's chapters take up 17.37% of the entire book. Rand's chapters take about 10% of the whole book, which is actually a bit higher. If you think back and try and think about like what did Rand actually do? There was the whole massive battle at the estate with the death gates and the fire blossom, fire arrows and those things. And then obviously toward the end when he confronts Semirhage. The Perrin, Fail, Galena chapters together take up about 18.17% of the whole book. So like that was one of the biggest chunks, but the chunkiest part is the Mat and Tuon stuff. So between Mat and Tuon, 21.4% of the book. So like more than a fifth of the book was just Mat and Tuon. Then Egwene and Swan are sort of lumped together. That's about 9%, 9.6% of the whole book. But then there's lots of like cool like battle commanders. Like there's Rodel Ituralde in the beginning. There's Galad at the beginning killing Aemon Valder. Fury Karede in his chapters we've already waxed lyrical about. Like that's all really, really cool. And then there's like some other sideline Aes Sedai stuff. Like we get some Romanda, like deciphering the Delana and Halima thing. We've got Alviar and Elida, Tarna Fear, a couple of Pavara chapters. So like a lot of other non-main Aes Sedai chapters that are all pretty good. So as a whole, this book is crammed with resolution of important plot lines. The trudging through the snow, done. Mat and Tuon's courtship, done. Caemlyn politics, done. I mean, those are three of the... If you had asked me before we started this podcast, I would say those are probably the three most boring plot lines in the entire series, and they've all wrapped up in this book. So I'm super stoked about that and the final stretch in the last couple of books. How did you guys feel about this book? I mean, we've checked in a number of times during this season, and I think we're all pretty much aligned. Do you still feel that way? Like it is one of the better books? It's kind of climbed the ranks for me as well, just like Karede has.
I had a fun time with this book.
Well, funny you may ask that, but yes, I had a great time with this book. It was fantastic.
It was a good one.
I mean, looking back at all the moments, there's a lot to choose of in terms of a favorite moment over the whole book as such. But there's this book is full of it. Like, there's so many cool things that happen.
Yes. And this is the book that immediately followed Crossroads of Twilight. The one that I, for many, many years... Yeah, exactly. So, like, RJ course-corrected in a huge way. Like, super, super, super delivered. And I don't think that's by mistake. I think the feedback...
I don't think it's a course correction. I don't think it was everything still intended as it was meant to play out.
But what it was is a lot of payoff after a lot of setup in the previous book.
No, he delivered. Like, I assume he was around when people were complaining about book 10, going, what the hell was this, bro? Just don't worry, next book's going to be better.
Yeah. I think Robert Jordan achieved in this book, on this reread, probably what he was trying to do from the beginning, and that's for me, a reader, to warm up to the Seanchan in general, and even to Tuon. Right, so like importantly for us to get on board with the idea of Mat, who is such a likable character, is obviously written to be a lovable rogue, to end up married to Tuon, you have to at least be somewhat on board with that. And before I read this book this time, I was not. I've always looked back on Tuon and the Seanchan in general, by extension, with a disdainful eye, right? Like all their slavery and like all that stuff, obviously awful, but I've been able to set that aside, and when I read these characters, actually enjoy them quite a lot. So like I said, Karede, I straight up like. He's one of my favorite characters now. Tuon, I like aspects of her.
Yes. We'll get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. But also she carries the weight of responsibility.
Get onto the Seanchan train.
I mean, look at Ty Lee as well. Mm-hmm. She was also great.
Yes, and Mishima, Msengi, Ajimbura.
Yeah. Ajimbura's my man.
And I mean, how many other Seanchan do you know that's terrible?
Mostly Suroth.
Suroth is a dark friend.
Exactly. Tuon that's been sent after Rodel Ituralde, like it sounds like when he meets his end, he's also like a really honorable guy, and he gives like Rodel the props that he deserves. You know, like the more I dig into these individual Sean Chan characters, the more willing and able I am to actually like them and enjoy those sections. Where in the past I was really revolted by them and really did not enjoy reading any of the Sean Chan parts. But to switch from things that we hated, favorite moments in the book.
Dude, I don't want to take your one, so I'm going to leave it, Moritz.
You know what mine's going to be, eh?
Of course, everyone knows what yours is going to be.
I'll go first and I'll get it out of the way. Honey in the tea. Gotta be. Just, again, third time this episode. Chef's kiss. Perfection. Fucking loved it. I won't blather on about it anymore. I have in the episode where we covered it and many other episodes. So, yes, that is me. So,
there's so
Joe,
many.
Nothing else to choose from. That was the best moment and I stole it. Wow.
I've got so many moments in front of me, yeah. There's none as good as that. I have to choose
Galena.
one Egwene. Galena, no. Probably, I mean, that battle at the manor house where the Death Gates come into play. And
ooh, yeah.
As like a single standout battle, that scene has lived in my head since I read the book the first time.
Totally. Absolutely.
And it happens in this book. So yeah, I'll go with that one.
Cool. Death Gates.
There are honorable mentions.
Death Gates, fire arrows, and what was the other thing? The blossoms of fire. Is that what it's called?
Blossoms of fire, Death Gates,
and fire arrows.
The finger shots, fire arrows.
Well, those thin tendrils that came out like...
Yeah, it like flash really quickly. Good shit. All right, Vil, your favorite moment from the book.
I'm going to be left side and go completely a different direction of all of it, because there's a huge amount of favorite moments that I picked throughout this book. And we've covered Honey in the Tea, that whole arc. But there was something that... funnily enough with me going through the whole book where I was like, oh yes, this was actually so good. And it was one of the previous favorite moments, I think, for the majority of us anyway. But it's Galad taking Eamon Balder's head.
Ooh,
in that opening.
Good one.
Like just a like welcome to the book and just come on, let's take you on a journey of an arc of redemption and of closure and of like honor, standing up for the right thing and everything that the White Cloaks should be, and then becoming rogues and taking 7,000 army and running away with them, and still being a force de majeure that's cruising around the lands, causing its own little side quest.
Another character skyrocketing up the charts for me in this reread. Like, hasn't put a foot wrong. He's done nothing that I've disliked. I don't know why I dislike. Oh, actually, I do know, because Elayne told me to dislike him. That's why I disliked him previously. But he's actually great.
And you're a good Queen's man, so you do what you're told.
yes.
Another favorite moment is Matt spanking Jolene. And then trying to leave, and the warder's like, I can't prove it, but I know you did it. And they're still, even in this last battle, in my last chapter, when he rides up to them, they still look at him like, we're going to get you, bro. Just wait.
So good. Okay, well, now we've got some more voice notes from our listeners who sent in their favorite moments from the book. Let's go back to Mick and find out what his book moment is /R.
Hi guys, Mick Howison again. Just wanted to share my favourite moment of the book. As a special mention, I think it was everybody's favourite moment a couple of weeks ago when Tuon realised that Matt was actually the lion on the hill, not some sort of joke. I think that's a special mention for me as a favourite moment of the book. But my real favourite moment is the one that gives me chills every time, when Nynaeve goes to the Borderlands and recruits all the Malkiri and to follow Lan and to meet him at Tarwin's Gap. That every time she says that last line gives me chills.
How could we forget? How did we not even mention that in our book favorite moments? Good one, Mick. Yes, I mean that last one, the Matt stuff. We're all on the same page there. But yeah, that one from Nynaeve is it's a real
gives him
shivers up
chills.
the spine.
It gives me the tears. I just get all teary eyed.
An attack of the tears.
Stuff in my eye, man.
It's raining in my eyes. It's fucking more perfection. It's so cool. Thanks a lot for that, Mick. One more voice note for us here, and that is the voice note from Merrilin.
I have many favorite moments in this book, but I'll highlight several overlooked ones. How subtly Jordan sets up and foreshadows Erengar and Grandel's alliance when the Forsaken are gathered at the gardens. He is so confident that he is in the lead in their relationship, only it will be Erengar whom Grandel sacrifices when it becomes convenient. We also get Missana's plotting and her complete underestimation of Egwene. The second one is Elayne in that one chapter when we see some POVs of her. She's like the Umbridge of the White Tower. She's posting written orders in every Aja's quarters. Please. She's both out of control and losing control of the tower. She's angry, drinking, and losing the Aes Sedai calm. She is also painfully unaware of what is going on. It does not bode well for her authority. But of course, my top favorite still is when Nynaeve sets in motion the Malkier ride for the Golden Crane. Great job on this book, guys. Looking forward to the rest. May you find water and shade.
Thanks, Merrilin.
I liken the Umbridge.
Yes. I was going to mention that too. I was watching that movie yesterday.
Is that a
I
Harry
turned on
Potter
the
thing?
TV and it Harry Potter, yeah, where she takes over Dumbledore's position and then she puts all these like notices on the walls.
Little, like there's no space on the walls. Like
I was watching that yesterday. That was incredible.
Okay.
all the various decrees.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, great subtle ones, and like you said, Marlene, overlooked there. The interplay between Erengar and Grendel is a cool foreshadowing because, like you said, yes, when Rand balefires Grendel's palace in Aradoman, it is Erengar that is sacrificed in that attack. Also love Missana underestimating Egwene. Like, she thought that the rebels would capitulate as soon as Egwene got captured, but no, it turns out that Egwene is actually stronger stuff, or made of stronger stuff than what they thought, and that what she thinks is playing into their hands. But we'll see how that pans out for her in Tel'aran'rhiod later. And yes, Elayne getting out of control, being out of the loop, is just like she has fallen so far from what the Aes Sedai strive to be. You know, calm, collected, cool, in control, and Elayne is the opposite of all of those things. So great moments, Marlene. Thanks for that. And thanks, Mick and Jonna, for all your contributions. So to all our other listeners not named Mick, Jonna, or Marlene, send us your favorite moments, your theories, your corrections to our many mistakes and blind spots, or just say hello. You can do so using any of the links in our episode description, or head straight to the website at bloodandashespodcast.com, where you can even leave a voice message like Mick and Marlene. Once you've done that, please rate and review the podcast on your favorite podcast app, and when all of that is done, it's time to put away Knife of Dreams and dust off the gathering storm in preparation for next time on Blood and Ashes. Book 12. Now, in an immediate break from Robert Jordan's tradition of stretching out the prologue with every book, in this book I've noticed, firstly, I think there are 50 chapters in Gathering Storm. So they must all be quite a bit shorter than the chapters that Robert Jordan's been writing, because we've been averaging around, I think, 45 to 35 to 40 chapters per book. There might have been a book or two that I had 50 before, but like certainly this last one, I think, what was the last chapter? 37, 38. Plus a pretty chunky epilogue. But anyway, so in our next episode, we're going to read not just the prologue, but also chapters 1 through 4. So
it's crazy talk. Crazy talk.
It's a lot of readers.
You've lost your mind,
looked at the
Bards.
allocations already. I looked ahead into my future, and my future said that I'm going to have to do a lot of homework.
It's the same number of pages.
Yeah,
same
but
number of
I've got to
pages per
remember
episode.
points of views. It's not like the same number of stories. I've got to be in character. It's like I've got to dramatize.
He takes this shit seriously.
Yes.
Really?
You're asking me
Dress rehearsals.
No, it's. I think looking at the episode breakdown, which you guys can see for those who are not looking at me waving my hand or have access to the Excel spreadsheets in which we manage all this stuff, but like there are still going to be, is it 9 or 10 episodes? We average about 10 episodes per book, but certainly more chapters per episode than we had in the past, which is pretty cool. I think like it's going to feel in terms of pacing like things are
Faster.
maybe moving along a bit quicker. I certainly remember that about
The
tail
thing
end of the series.
that I vehemently protest against in your spreadsheet of allocations is that the Excel doesn't take into account the feeling, the emotion, the weight of the chapter. It might just be
No,
4
Excel
pages
famously
less.
emotionless.
It's a very emotionless. It's like, whoa, we need to allocate double amount of time to these small amount of chapters because of the weight and the emotion and the
Cry
feeling.
breaks.
Cry breaks.
Right. Okay. Well, maybe our episodes go back up to 4 hours again. I've been sitting pretty consistently at about 2.5 hours for
I'm okay
quite a
with
while
2.5
now.
hours.
But yeah. Let's see. It'll be interesting to see. This is all going to form part of that conversation about like Brandon Sanderson's writing style, just the length of the chapters, the contents in it, how fast the story is moving along. I'm very excited about this. I have not read a Wheel of Time book since October last year.
This is where I was up to. This is all new for me.
What? No, you change the story all the time.
You told us you haven't read the last book.
I can't remember.
That's what I remember.
Because, Willie, you've read Moiraine's Rescue.
No. Then it's not.
Have I?
That's not even this book. It's the next book.
Let's see how my memory jugs along with all of
Yes,
it doesn't matter. We can't remember these books either. Gathering Storm is like reading it for the first time.
I can't tell you what happens in Gathering Storm, except for when looking at the chapter titles, I can see the attack at the White Tower happens. So I'm excited for that. That's obviously like the final end and culmination of Egwene's journey as Eminent Seat.
I wouldn't be throwing words around like obviously so willy-nilly, Moritz. It's obviously at the end. I remember nothing, but this is obviously the last chapter.
No, I don't mean it's the last chapter. I just mean like her going back to the tower and taking over the tower and reuniting the tower.
Open the spreadsheet. We can look at the name. I saw the episode. The chapter.
The chapter.
And I thought, oh, that's the one where she gets attacked, where the tower gets attacked.
You don't think it is?
Called Attack
or you
on
think
the
there's a non-zero chance it's not?
No. 100% accurate. Mark my words. It's in a recording.
We will find out very soon.
Well, opening up the spreadsheet.
Okay, you open up the spreadsheet. In the meantime, I'll just go through the chapters that we're covering in the next episode. It's the prologue, which is called What the Storm Means, which is great. Like, can we finally get that answer when Nynaeve is going on about storms and everyone's wondering what the storm means? Hopefully it will be enlightening. Then chapter 1 is Tears from Steel. Then The Nature of Pain, The Ways of Honor, and Nightfall. As always, give away nothing.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll give something away. Chapter 40 out of 50 is called The Tower Shakes.
There we go.
It's got to be that. It's got to be, huh?
Wasn't there one like alluding to the tower being whole? Like the tower stands? No, that's the stone stands, hey?
Yeah, we're way off now.
Okay.
The tower stands, the tower stands. Chapter 45.
So, that's what I think is going to be the culmination. Surely, the tower stands after all that. Has to be. Has to be.
Well, it's got to shake first. Anyway,
Well, we're going to find out soon enough. But until we find out, I will say to you, gentlemen, and to all our listeners, sleep well and wake.
Bon voyage, everyone.
Tot ziens.